This is a Headgum podcast.
In the 1980s and 90s, video games and computer software were the domain of physical media. And if you wanted to buy a cartridge for Super Castlevania or a CD-ROM of Microsoft Encarta, you likely went to your local mall to hit up Babbage's. Founded in 1984 and named for the inventor of the computer, Charles Babbage, in 1999 the company was acquired by pre-Amazon bookseller titan Barnes & Noble and rebranded as GameStop. In 2005, GameStop acquired rival EB Games, formerly Electronics Boutique, and the merged entity had a functional monopoly over video game retail. That is, until increased broadband speeds and hard drive sizes joined to decimate the physical games market and all but eliminate the physical PC software market. Struggling to remain profitable, GameStop added toys and clothing to become a sort of nerd culture hot topic, though one could argue Hot Topic itself already fills that need. By the beginning of the current console generation, as both Sony and Microsoft released versions of their PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S consoles sans disk drives, all signs indicated GameStop appeared headed for a blockbuster-style slow fade to bankruptcy. But in January of 2021, during a bleak stretch of the COVID pandemic, stir-crazy amateur day traders connected by social media gave rise to meme stocks, with GameStop, buoyed by millennial nostalgia, becoming the chief beneficiary. By the end of that month, GameStop stock was up 3,000%, and mobile trading app Robinhood was besieged by bad press and condemnation from both parties for restricting trading on the security. While the price has come down significantly from that ludicrous high, it's still trading staggeringly higher than its nadir, and the memification of its stock price has given new life to the game seller. So why did a sushi restaurant founded by chef Suji Kimura in LA's Sawtell Japantown neighborhood choose to borrow its brand name and logo from GameStop? No clear answer exists, although one could speculate it's because both sushi and video games are major cultural exports of Japan. With a downright cheap price point for an often wallet-emptying delicacy, Kimura's Sushi Bar quickly added additional stores throughout the city and county. The chain was even featured in a viral BuzzFeed video entitled $3 Sushi versus $250 Sushi, though I refused to watch to learn the verdict. Today, with over 10 locations in the greater LA area, it may not be as ubiquitous as its video game inspiration, but it certainly has its share of otaku, eagerly sampling its wares. This week on Doughboys, Sushi Stop. Welcome to Doughboys, the podcast about chain restaurants. I'm Nick Weiger, along with my co-host, Stair Wars, The Rise of a Slow Walker, the Spoon Man, Mike Mitchell.
Jesus. Do I know who sent that in?
If so,
that was good.
That one. This was as a fellow. This is the person who sent that in. As a fellow 1%er with a flight of stairs, I came up with a roast inspired by Mitch's favorite Star Wars movie, Stair Wars: Rise of a Slow Walker. Love the show. Bill below Zilch on the Reddit. roastspoonman@gmail.com.
Hold on, a fellow 1%er? Don't you have to have like $1 billion?
This dude's fucking loaded.
Jesus.
Only the most successful people listen to Doughboys.
We know that's not true. You're all a bunch of losers, like Wags and I.
I believe Bill is being ironic there because people are like
I know he's joking.
Mitch is Richie Mitch because he's got a flight of stairs at his townhome, but it's like, you know, I think a lot of people have stairs. I think that's what he's doing.
Wags, you know, I'm back in Quincy. But you know who I saw on my flight?
Who's that, Mitch?
You're not going to believe it. Scrooge.
Scrooge himself. You know, we're here in 2023. Happy Chew Year. The current year is 2023, but we're recording this in 2022. So you saw Scrooge, this is topical.
You're saying this is like out of date or something.
Well, I'm saying that if you're listening to this in January of 2023, you might be like, why is Mitch bringing up Scrooge? But then you just have to remember, first off, this actually happened to him. So, you know, and then second off, Scrooge has a life outside of Christmas. In fact, that's his main life as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, you only know a little bit of Scrooge's life, which is what you saw or read with the Christmas Carol.
Read in my case. I prefer to read it.
And the Muppet Christmas Carol was better. You admitted it's the best version of
It
the
is
Christmas
a better
Carol.
version, yeah, for sure.
You know what? The motherfucker was sitting in first class, Wags. Scrooge was sitting in first class.
Fucking
I said,
stairs
Scrooge, my
bitch.
man. I was
Yeah.
like, Scrooge, my man. I was like, you're not regressing on me, are you, Scrooge? And he's like, no. You got like, are you going back to your old ways? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Natural question.
And he said, no. I said, all right. I'm just checking. Enjoy your first class flight. Have fun. And I said, wait a minute. Hey, where's Tiny Tim? You know what I mean? He kind of grimaces.
Natural question, yeah.
I look back and Coach. Tiny Tim's in a fucking middle seat, Wags, and Coach.
Oh my God.
Tiny Tim's in a fucking middle seat and Coach.
Oh no, yeah.
I'm like, Scrooge, my man, come on.
Upgrade the man.
What's the fucking deal?
Your friend's child.
Use some fucking use some fucking mileage, fucking Delta miles. Get him in fucking first with you.
Did you say that to him?
I know. I mean, I let him. I gave him a piece of my mind, but
Did he hit you with a bah humbug?
he
did. Your ass.
Oh, you know,
yeah.
he fucking bah hum. Of course he bah hum. Of course he bah humbugged my ass. Jesus. Fucking
He's
hard
on
to say.
Cameo, by the way, right?
Scrooge is on Cameo.
Get him to say bah humbug.
And you can get him and Brian from The Office. It's extra if you want those two to appear together.
Hey, congratulations to Janie on your graduation from college. This is Scrooge. Your mom just wanted me to tell you, bah humbug. That cost $35.
Yeah, right. With Scrooge, you know it's fucking more than that.
Oh my God, he's a fucking
it's
three-figure cameo for sure.
Uh-huh. And if it's for business, forget about it. Cameo for business,
yeah.
It's thousands.
You know, a lot of people get seasonal depression, including me around Christmas time. Bah humbug. That's why I use BetterHelp. Promo code Scrooge.
Yeah, use promo
$2,000,
use
please.
promo code Scrooge. See if it works, everybody. Yeah, well, you know, typical Wags, and you know what else? The plane it drove me home. This happened to me before, I told you, but the plane it didn't fly. It just drove.
Doesn't go
to my
airborne.
house.
Yeah, just takes highways. Seems inefficient.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'd rather be in a car in that circumstance, honestly.
You know, speaking of Cameo, speaking of fans, you know what I found out the other day?
What? What's that, bitch?
This is real. I'm not. I mean,
Okay,
the
all
Scrooge
right.
story was also very real.
Yeah, I
The
know.
part was fake. Was that him and Brian from The Office don't have a joint cameo? That's all. Everything else was real. But the thing that I found out the other day is, you know, like I stan them. Like, oh, I'm a stan. Did you know that the origins are Eminem's stan? Did you know
the
that?
etymology is
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was Stan.
It used
my
to
tea's
originally
gone cold,
be.
I'm wondering why, Stan.
Our guest is nodding along, and yeah, I believe because it was originally used as a pejorative. It was originally like, you're a stan for this person. You're a stan for Scrooge. You're fucking, you'll defend Scrooge. And then it became reclaimed as like, yeah, I am a stan for Scrooge. I totally stan Scrooge. I think
stan
that's what happened.
Scrooge.
Me too.
He's a good guy. Come on. We look, Wags, howdy ho to Spoon Nation. Who got out while the guest was looking the other way. Don't have to be too embarrassed by it. But Emma, let's hit him with a little drop. I got something to say, Wags, and this may be controversial. Nick. That's you.
I was going to say that's me at the end of that. Very good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a
I
quality
can tell
drop.
you, we've had a StreamYard. We got to introduce our guests, but we've had a StreamYard upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
And Emma's excited. That's Emma chiming in. She's excited about this. We've quite like I got excited about because I have a new mic too right now, and I said to Emma, I was like, "This mic is like awesome." And I was like, "I know," and then I was like, "Are we like losers?" And she was like, "It basically said yes, but like,
yeah,
was like,
sure,
nobody knows." But Emma, speaking of being excited, there's a new StreamYard thing, and you played that that drop through StreamYard sounded good. Usually it sounds like shit for our listeners. We have a great guest. I'm sorry, for our guests, and we have a great guest today. But hey, everyone, you can talk. You can say your thoughts on the StreamYard upgrade, Emma, in just a second after I read this email.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. A highlight of my childhood was when our basic cable subscription was accidentally upgraded, giving us access to Nickelodeon and imprinting this jingle on my 10-year-old brain. The cable company eventually fixed their mistake 2 years later. Thanks to Brooke for the drop idea. And that's Finke, Chris Finke.
Wow. Thanks, Finky.
I thought Nickelodeon was a part of the basic cable package, but maybe not.
Depends on the package.
My parents did not do any. I think you could get like a cable thing that was like just like local stations. But my parents would not pay for Disney or any pay channel. But Nickelodeon we had Nickelodeon like MTV. I think that those were included. But maybe I don't know. Maybe fucking I don't know. Maybe I had a 1%er pack or some bullshit. Whatever people say. We should introduce our guest. Emma, do you have any thoughts on the new StreamYard?
Look, I'm a complete tech nerd and I love upgrades. So anything that's upgraded and working better,
yeah,
I'm here for it. I just upgraded all of my mastering software and I'm really excited about it. Nobody cares, but I do.
I care.
I
want to know what you're using.
I appreciate it.
Is it Isotope?
It is Isotope.
I knew it.
Wow.
Yeah, Isotope, Ozone, Nectar. I got it all upgraded.
Fucking
Yeah,
nerd central in here.
Alie knows what's up.
I get it.
Our guest, a daytime Emmy Award-winning science correspondent and host of the podcast Ologies, Alie Ward is here. Hi, Alie.
I'm here. And Mitch, I noticed your mic immediately. And I was like, he's got money. My first thought, I was like, I'm sorry, is that a Shure 7 SMB or something? Help me out. Emma,
Sure
help me.
So Mitch has the Shure MV7. Wagner and I both have SM7Bs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm rocking.
Whoa!
Old one.
Whoa! What is the difference with my mic?
Yours is the travel-friendly version.
Yeah, since you're in Quincy,
what the-
Massachusetts currently.
Is WAG have some sort of upgrade? I want the WAG's mic. I want the nice.
I
one.
will. You know what, Mitch? When we set up your studio in your apartment or your townhouse and your 1%er on your staircase, we'll get you an SM7B.
When that's finally set up.
Fucked up.
So ETA 2025. We'll look for that to happen.
Right about when the podcast is ending, I think.
Good timing.
I'll have it for my next podcast.
Alie, thank you so much for being here. And look, while Emma's in the conversation, we were talking before the podcast began about a Maine cryptozoology / Bigfoot museum.
Hell yeah. Did you not? None of you knew about this.
I'd never heard of this.
I
No.
don't know it. No.
Okay.
I'm very excited about it, and I will.
You
be going.
should be. First thing you need to know is there's 2 Portlands. One's in Oregon, one's in Maine. Don't get it confused if you're buying tickets anywhere. Apparently that happens. People get pissed. But
Wow.
Oh my god.
it happens.
I learned while we were in Portland this year that the name for Portland, Oregon was between Portland and Boston, and they chose Portland, but it was almost Boston, Oregon.
What was Boston doing?
I don't know.
Doing
They're
this?
just stealing names
Well,
from the East Coast, I guess.
we were around, right? Boston.
Yeah.
Boston. Okay. Yes. I mean, I knew that we were. But Portland Oregon missed out. They should have been Boston, Oregon. That's cool as hell.
They made the right choice. Because we have 2 NBA teams based in Boston. The Boston Celtics and the Boston Trailblazers are in different states.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
confusing
weird.
as shit.
Rules. I would love the Boston Trailblazers. They fucked up.
I expect more of Portland. Like, get your own name, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Not
That's
trend.
true.
That's not trend setty at all. But yeah, if you're in Portland,
Yeah, it's
Maine,
not very weird.
You know? Pretty boring. Someone's already doing it already.
Yeah.
Portland. But yes, if you're in Portland, Maine, there's a cryptozoology museum there dedicated to Bigfoot and other creatures. I don't know if there's I actually don't know. I don't know if there's like a chupacabra diorama. I don't know if there's like Pegasus feathers. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I need to get there.
It looks awesome. I'm excited. There's a plan your visit tab on
Sounds
their
sick as
website,
hell.
and I am gonna be planning my visit while you guys are talking about sushi.
Please
We also
wait for me. Yeah.
we also talked about your old apartment building that Swingers was shot in, and also it's haunted. Why?
Yes.
You're just smiling because you think that I want to bring up my joke, which I do. Which was a ghost saying to another ghost, "You're so spooky and you don't even know it."
Yeah, I
I think
it.
I said it wrong when I told you the first time.
It's better the third time I've heard it. It gets better and better. Do it again.
Like a fine wine.
You're so spooky
loved
and you
it.
don't even know it. That's the John.
I loved
No, it's
Very good.
the tall ghost, the tall Vince Vaughn ghost, saying it to the John Favreau ghost. Which also so you lived in the UCB area, which I still kind of live in. I have not been to the new UCB, but then there's more stops on this. If you want the Swingers tour, you can go over to Vermont, and there's a bar in Vermont. What's it called? Why can't I remember
The
the damn name
Dresden,
of the
right?
The Dresden. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't remember. I just couldn't remember Dresden, which is a great bar.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I'm embarrassed that I know all of these Swingers landmarks so well. Like, I feel like I have to confess to like driving a big van around that's like Swingers tours. I remember it well.
So there's that, and then there was also a diner. I feel like
101
on
coffee shop?
Melrose. No, it wasn't 10. Was it 101? Were they in the one?
I
They
thought they
probably
did a
were in
scene
the
there.
101 too.
Oh.
But I think that there was another diner in Swingers. You can Bing it, Wags. I don't know if you're.
There's also a
binging it
diner
already.
called Swingers. Like
Mhm.
there's
I don't
a
think
mini
that's
diner
the
chain
one.
called Swingers,
Oh,
which I don't
it's-
think is associated.
Maybe that's what I'm confusing. Is that
I
I thought
got it, yeah.
Swingers was in Swingers and it's Cafe 101.
I
But the
think it was
Dresden's
Cafe
great.
101. Yeah.
Were those some of your? Is that some of your old stomping grounds around the UCB area?
Do you know Mess Hall used to be the Brown Derby? That's where like people used to swing dance back in the day, apparently. I don't know. I saw
Wow.
Swingers before I moved to LA, and so I feel like I need to see it again since I've been living in LA. I'd like to appreciate it more, but those were my stomping grounds. But I lived in this building. It was across from Gelson's. It used to be called the Mayfair Market. I don't know if you remember that era.
Oh, I
But
remember
this
that.
is
Yeah.
this little strip in LA. It's called Franklin Village, and it's right across from the Celebrity Center. Which
The Scientology Celebrity Center.
Center.
yes.
Where Weiger and I had lunch. Or
Yeah, you guys
Lovely
go. You
brunch.
guys go there a lot for meetings, right?
Yeah, they hang out.
Your therapist is in there.
Yeah, my thetans are off the charts these
Yeah.
days.
Oh,
so
my God,
When
man.
I'm
the
seeing my
worst.
therapist, I'm holding on to those. What are they called? What are those
Electrodes.
damn electrodes.
yes,
We went in there for Scientology brunch for real. We went in there for Scientology.
We
Did
did,
you
yeah.
really?
we turned it
Yeah.
into content. We had
We did.
brunch at the Scientology Center. This was several years ago, so we were all comfortable.
And then
talking
I
about it.
joined.
Mitch joined, and then I
Yeah.
joined. Then we made Emma join. She didn't really have a choice if she wanted to keep her job.
Yeah.
And
It's a thing now within
It's
the
a thing now.
Doughboys universe.
so we were and we went and we told the story in the podcast before, but there's a really weird like sort of like mindfuck thing that happened where they had a huge tray as part of the brunch. They had a huge tray of hard-boiled eggs that were just out and about, which is a weird item to be at brunch, and they like look kind of gross. And then after you have brunch, you watch a video, and the video includes a scene of someone eating hard-boiled eggs and then getting food poisoning. And you're like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? What are you trying to do to my brain? What is this psychological prison you're trying to entrap me in? And to what what steps are we taking to get there? It was very strange. It was
Wow.
unsettling.
There was also a plate left out of brunch, and there was a little post-it that said "For Xenu," and we were like,
Oh,
"Come on.
wow.
Is
Yeah.
that really for Xenu?"
Wow. Gosh, I'm that's brave of you. And I'm sorry. Have you been able to look at hard-boiled eggs the same since? Be honest.
We've eaten them every
Um,
day since.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Having a lot of them. Having more of them.
There was a weird thing too, where like a cook, like there's an accident and he like burns his hands. It's kind of gruesome.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
like this wouldn't have like if his head wasn't so clouded from this other stuff, like it wouldn't have happened. And it's like, what the fuck?
Didn't they also
Like,
have like
Pe-
robot
people are
chefs
just accidents. You might just be thinking of Weiger being
there?
there.
I thought they had like an omelet robot or something.
Oh,
Never mind.
maybe.
Hmm. We were talking an omelet robot in a different context. I'm not sure if it's at the Scientology Center. Maybe it is now. I don't
If
know.
there was one there, we'd be going back.
Also, that was my idea a decade ago. I was like, there should be an omelet station manned by a robot. People would love that.
Oh,
That would be
man
a
of the
Vegas
people,
tourist
eh?
attraction.
The working class guy wants everyone to be every omelet cook to be replaced with a fucking robot.
No, I don't. I didn't say that. First off,
Okay.
the robot maintenance techs would
Mhm.
be given a working wage, obviously, and then also there would be other people working at the buffets. A robot can't be completely self-sufficient. I'm just talking about specifically the omelet station. If you had an omelet preparing robot, I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know, Alie, you're a science expert. Your thoughts?
I used to be the person that had to man the omelet station for craft
Wow.
service. That was my job.
Wow.
When I first moved to
Wow.
LA, I had to be the
Wow.
person at the omelet station that's like, "Well, and what would you like?" on like Jack in the Box and Taco Bell and like Mattel sets. I was craft service for
Wow.
years, and I did not know how to make an omelet. And I remember the first couple jobs, someone took me aside and they were like one of the producers who was like, "I just gotta, you should saute the mushrooms first. Do you not know that?" And I was like, "I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just graduated college. All I know is that I show up here with a cooler full of cheese and you guys cut me a check later." But that was my job, is I was
You
craft
must be
service
really
for a
good
living.
at. Are you really good at
That
making
sounds so
omelets
stressful.
now?
I
is
never
my
make
guess?
omelets. I
No,
never make
wow.
They're
them.
hard.
I
They're a pain in the
just
ass.
I just don't I don't practice that kind of self-love in the morning. I think I just go for like a salmonella boiled egg and call it a day, you know? I should. But I was craft service. That was like my first job. And when you work craft service, like everyone shit talks everyone on set. So you're like for me, I was like the bottom of the call sheet, like below the PAs, and then it was like craft service. So you just like learn how not to make people gossip about you when you're on it. Just like be nice to everyone all the
Mm.
time because they will talk shit about you over yogurt pretzels. Gotta be nice.
That's
That's what I learned.
wild.
Yeah.
Do you know one of my first jobs was PAing. I don't know if I talked about this on here, but Jennifer Newsom. I think her name was Jennifer Seibel at the time. Gavin Newsom's now wife.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
You worked on one of her
And?
movies or something,
I worked
right?
on one of her movies.
Yeah.
And the AD, I remember this specifically. Wise, you'd actually like this. The AD was like being like obnoxious and being like, can we get like PA? And it was like me and one other PA. And he was like, can we get like some PAs here to like do this or whatever on set? And we were moving a table for lunch. And he was like saying this out loud and like embarrassing us. And then I responded back. I was like, hey man, we're doing something right now. Why don't you lay off? Because he was being a huge asshole.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And he was being a huge asshole. And then he was like, what the fuck? Where's Mike Mitchell? And he started yelling that on set. And he's like, don't ever fucking. He like came up and started swearing at me. I was like, I'll fucking walk off this job right now. Fuck you. I was so mad. Also, I was like almost gonna
Hell
cry.
yeah.
But I was like,
Understandable, though.
fuck you. Don't treat people. And it was also like this other poor kid that was like just like a quiet kid who like shouldn't have be like a mousy small guy who shouldn't have been yelled at. Like he was like embarrassing us. And I told him to fuck off. And then later Jennifer Newsom was also like, I thought, she kind of annoyed me because she was like, I thought you were like such a nice guy. And I was like, I am. This guy was a fucking asshole. But then also later someone was like, that guy was like going through a divorce. And I'm like, well, don't fucking bring that shit to work, you fucking asshole.
Well,
It's
what
not my
happened? Did
fault
you
that
ever?
you were being an asshole.
Did
He was
you-
later, he was like, I'd hire you. Like the guy was like, I'd hire you again. He like kind of apologized later.
That's
But,
what I
like-
was going to ask. If you never worked in this town again, did he fight? Did you get 86th?
Why we're
I-
podcasting.
Yeah, that's why we're podcast now. But go ahead, Wax, ask your question because I'm sorry for that stupid segue.
No, I loved hearing that. Good for you. I was and for context for people who aren't as familiar with Alie Ward, as I call it, the AD assistant director is usually kind of like effectively
Always.
the point person on set in terms of like running everything. It kind of feels like that. If you haven't been on a set before, you would think the assistant director is the director because they're kind of telling everyone what to do. But Alie, I'm curious, as a working in craft services, you ran the omelet station. Well, like what other tasks did you have on that side of the industry?
Oh God. Okay. Here's what happens. You go to
Yeah.
the production office, right? They hand you like $1,200 cash, right? And then you have a prep day and you have to go shopping. You do your Trader Joe's, you do your Smart and Final, you do sometimes a Costco, whatever. And then you pick up, I used to call it pavilions. I'd go pick up cheeses
yeah.
and such. And you'd go home and then you'd make cookies, you'd prep all your stuff for the day before, pre-make your quesadillas, and then the next day you'd get up at like absolutely one of those hours that makes you sick because it's so early,
Yeah.
like at 3:00. And you'd have to get
Jesus.
to set first to make that big urn of coffee. And then you just walk around begging someone to give you electricity to plug this thing in. And then people would start coming in being like, is coffee ready? Is coffee ready? Is coffee ready? Is the coffee ready? And you're like, I'm making 5 gallons of it. And I just plugged it in 30 seconds ago. And you try not to cry. And then you'd set out a bunch of snacks for people. And then everyone would come and eat and complain about eating and be like, oh, I shouldn't be eating this again. I shouldn't be eating this again. And then you'd take home all the leftovers and you'd eat it with your roommates. And
That sounds so stressful.
This is so much what my job at The Simpsons was. Obviously not like an on-set thing and not as stressful having to make the food, but so much of it was like food delivery and people
Right.
not being happy about their food. And by the way, Wags, you mentioned ADs, usually huge assholes, a lot of ADs.
Often
I met
they're
some great
assholes,
ones,
yeah.
like the seconds and like Matt Sewell and a few other people who Kylie. Like shout out to Twisted Metal ADs, but
Right.
a lot of them are
We're working the
assholes,
guy on
so.
Rust. He was a solid dude. Very professional. That's the thing I always try to remind myself of when I'm like when I like have early travel or like an early job, like, you know, call time at a job, and I show up and like you know, I'm getting coffee from somewhere, I'm getting something to eat first thing in the morning. It's like I have to be like, they had to get here before me. Like I'm fucking exhausted. And I'm so fucking tired, and like I need this to function, and they've already been here for like an hour or more. And then that always makes me feel like who the fuck am I to complain about anything? But it's that sounds like such a tough job. And was it just you?
It was just me, and I had a whole kit, and I'd load up my
Wow.
hatchback with everything. And I remember though, this one time I went to go pick up money, and you know, it's the first time they're meeting you, and you've got to, you know, look professional and stuff. And so I pick up the cash and stuff. And then as I'm leaving, the woman's like, "Oh, I like your shoes. They're different." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And I looked down, and I was wearing 2 different shoes. I had gotten
A
dressed
Punky
quickly.
Brewster.
Not on
You
purpose.
pulled a Punky.
That's cool.
I sure did. There were 2 different black shoes, and I did not realize. And so it was this moment where right as I'm like leaving with a fanny pack full of thousands of dollars, and I'm just rolling out of her office with mismatched shoes. And I was like, this is not professional at all. But I went and bought cheese with it because that's what I was there for.
There you go.
I know pavilions really well. I don't think it's bad. I think it's cool to pull a Punky Brewster.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't notice
alpha.
until then. Yeah.
There was an episode where someone gets locked in a fridge, so don't pull one of the. I
Oof,
mean,
careful.
don't
I
get
know.
yourself locked in a fridge. I don't know why I would bring up a childhood memory that's very obscure that no one.
I remember
remembers this.
exactly what you're talking about, and it was
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a really good moment of. It was one of those times when a sitcom does like a turn and talks about child abuse, or like when Tom Hanks had alcoholism on Family Ties. It was like one of those. But one of Punky's friends got locked in a fridge. And how many times have you been locked in a fridge since then? None, right? 'Cause
Quite
we
a bit,
learned.
actually. I'd say since that episode, once a year probably, but
Could have been twice.
it could have been twice. You're right. I think that I do think about it more. Alie, wait, hold on. Wags, what are you gonna ask?
Yes.
Because I got some questions.
I was gonna change this. I was change subjects. Go ahead and ask something.
All right, my questions are. So that's your neck of the woods. Had you ever been to the Dresden? Did you go to the Dresden at all? And also, more importantly, did you go to mess hall when it was the Brown Derby? Because that is like one of the saddest things. I think when I moved to LA, it was still the Brown Derby at one point. I moved out in 2005, and then, but when I was in Los Feliz, I'm still in the UCB, not far from the Franklin Strip. I'm not going to give my exact location, but I'm still in that neck of the woods. But I never got to experience the Brown Derby, which I feel like they should have made a historical lamb. I mean, at least the original one, but it makes me really sad that it's gone. But did you get to experience that as the Brown Derby?
I mean, it's a Chase Bank now, which is pretty reverent and
Yes.
Wow.
historical. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got ATMs in the lobby. What could
Like
preserve
half of it
more?
was a Chase Banks and half of it was the mess hall, right? Like
Yeah.
part of it was mess hall.
Like a
Okay.
restaurant. I think I went once, and when it was still like a bar and a restaurant. So I remember it, and I do remember it from Swingers. And I don't think I realized when I moved into that apartment building across from Franklin Village, like I don't think I realized that it was a Swingers building. I just really needed a place to live, and it was $760 for a studio. And I was like, I'm in. Bring it on. But
Damn. I
I
wonder how much it is now.
I'm sure it's so much. I'm sure it's so
Like
much more. But I mean,
$3,000.
when I lived there, it wasn't maybe the best, but they've made it better. But I worked on the Franklin Strip,
Wow.
and I met a bunch of friends working there. And I was working on the Franklin Strip when this new theater opened, and it was UCB. And I
Wow.
remember the way the block changed from this crappy old theater to UCB theater, and then it was just overrun with guys in plaid shirts, Kraken wise.
Yeah.
Whole neighborhood changed. But yeah,
Yes.
so I lived across the street from there, and I would
All right, hold on a
run-
second.
Yeah.
You were working there. We talking Birds, La Poubelle. Where were you working on the Franklin Strip? There's not many options.
Babies. I was working at Sushi Stop.
Wow.
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 It wasn't called Sushi Stop then. It was called Tayo.
No.
Do you remember
Yes.
Tayo?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
Yes.
Tayo.
Right next door to UCB.
I remember Tayo was getting sold, and like UCB had like toyed with the idea of turning that into a bar or something, like into something, and then it became a Sushi Stop.
Yeah.
Yes, it became a
Yeah.
sushi stop, one of several sushi stops. I'm curious, but did you work at all at the sushi stop during the sushi stop era? Or was that past your
No.
time?
No.
Okay, got
it switched over, changing of the guard to Sushi Stop, but it was a Tayo when I worked there. And it was a very
Wow.
formative time of my life. And I was also I also made paintings at the time, and I had my first art show at the Bourgeois Pig, which is this like little coffee shop
Yep.
that has couches that look like they smell like farts and over
Yes.
roasted beans and stuff, but in a
do,
charming
I
way.
think.
There's people writing procedurals on Dell laptops at the Pig, and so I
100%.
had my paintings up there, and then worked at the sushi place, and then lived across the street from it, and then and once, actually, getting back to it was across the street from the Scientology Center, and once I went up on the roof of my building and I looked down, and you could see through windows into the Scientology Center, and I was like, holy fuck. And I saw these people in like weird uniforms, like black and white uniforms, doing this really slow dance together. And I was like, holy fuck, what are they doing? What are they doing? And then I realized after like a couple minutes that it was a Tai Chi class. It was just, and it was not anything ceremonial. And I was like, oh, they just
Man,
Jesus.
such a
are
bummer.
having a Tai Chi class. But I could see onto the grounds. Like I could have lobbed a cantaloupe over the fence.
I wish it was Tom Cruise dancing with Xenu, slow dancing with Xenu.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I was looking at. I was like, I'm gonna have to call a newspaper after this. And then I was like, oh, it's just like a meditation class. But
What's the
That's-
password, sir? Fidelio. Thank you, sir.
Wait, Alie, did you ever hit up the Dresden? I am if people.
Mitch
I think
needs
it's good-
closure on the Dresden.
oh yes. I've been
Well, I
there.
want
I've
to
been
talk
there.
about Dresden a little bit because
Yes.
it has a
Marty
great
and
cocktail called the
Elaine.
Blood and Sand. Marty and Elaine, who rest in peace to Marty. And
Yeah.
I shouldn't besmirch his name, but I think Kalpakis saw him doing coke at 80 years old in the bathroom one night.
I bet he did. Good for him.
What a life. Yeah, good for him.
They put a lot of
of
octogenarians
course.
on
Legend.
antidepressants and stuff, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
They were great. I don't know what the show is now, but it's a great spot, Wags. It's a great LA spot. And I did need closure. Thank you.
Yeah. You know
Yes.
what I think about when I think about the Dresden? I just think white leather. I just think of those white leather
Yeah.
booths, and I think how much
Mhm.
gravy they probably spilled on them, and they just wipe them right up. I just think gravy booth. But yeah, like a watered
Dean
down
Martin.
cranberry vodka. It's one of those places,
mhm,
you know?
Yes.
Mhm.
It's like a rum and diet. Okay.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, and also I think a lot of Hollywood royalty through the years kind of
Sure.
passed through there, Wags. So
Yes.
it's a good.
Oh, yeah.
It was worth getting some closure on. All right, now Wags, to your subject change. What do you think of food?
Who, me?
Fucking boring ass. No, yeah, that's what I was saying. Why?
I was to say I've eaten it before. It's good.
Name your favorite breads. What's the bullshit you want to talk
Mitch
about?
is oversimplifying.
I'll talk
what
about
I
my
do.
favorite breads. I'll talk
There
about
you
it.
go.
You know what's good? Make a sandwich on a hamburger bun. Fuck real bread.
Oh,
Use
hell
hamburger
yeah.
buns.
All right.
Get a
fun.
potato. Get a potato bun, and then
Okay, there we
your
go.
sandwich is round. No, there's never one lip flopping because you got a round. You know what I mean? I make sandwiches on
Right.
hamburger buns. Delicious. And then also you're like, oh, what a treat. It's not a sandwich. It's a hamburger sandwich.
Do you
lunch meat.
bisect them, or do you just bite into them like a whole?
No, I just carry it around like a moon pie, like a whoopie
Ah.
pie. It's
He's happy
great.
you got
That's
to
a lot
say
of
one of
fun.
his favorite words. You love saying bisect.
I do like saying bisect.
Do I bifurcate? Do I truncate my mastication experience by bifurcating it along the vertical axis?
There you
I'm
go.
I'm a sandwich thins man now. I get the
Oh.
if I like those a lot. Those are. Have you had those wags? I believe Ora Wheat does them. I believe Ora Wheat has sandwich thins.
I've
Look,
been
I'm
all
tired.
I've been all local bakery. Like I've been all like Bub and Grandma, which is like an artisan.
You've been
like,
nuts
fancy
about
pants
Bub and
bakery.
Grandma lately.
I've been going to
Yeah.
I'm hitting up Bub and Grandma. Shout out to Tyler. We see at the farmers market, and he hooks me up with some dank loafs.
Sounds
loving them loaves.
artisanal.
Yeah, very artisanal.
I've been on like Hawaii time, which is bad because I'm on the East Coast. Like
What are you doing?
I've been like, I don't know. It's bad. So I'm waking up pretty later than I should be. But like I'm saying, like if I lived in Hawaii, people would be like, "You're going to sleep late." That's the issue. Is right
What
now.
What time did you go to bed last night? Be honest.
Well, it's kind of tricky because I fell asleep downstairs writing the Doughboys holiday special.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good it is that it put me to sleep immediately. And then I woke up at 1, and this is my issue, is that like if I have like any sort of sleep, that like kept me up for like almost till 5 a.m. Like I went upstairs and then I couldn't sleep for like, and I only slept probably like an hour and a half from like 11:30 to 1. And then I went upstairs and I like couldn't sleep again till probably close till 5 in the morning. So
That's a bummer.
I know, not good.
Do you want to know a trick for that? I have a good trick for that.
Let me hear it.
Okay. We call it the Fancy Nancy because my mom's name is Nancy and she invented it. But I'm only telling you because I use it a lot and it helps. For me, I don't know if this is going to work for you. Don't get mad at me or my mom. It's free advice. So you come up
I
with
will not get mad at you or your mom.
Okay, I appreciate that. So you come up with a category like fruits or bands or movies, superhero movies, whatever. And you start with an A, like apple. And you go B, banana, C, cherry, whatever. And you just like do the category game. And I just talked to a dream expert who told me the reason why it works is because it switches to this default network in your brain that involves imagination. Anyway.
Wow.
It does stop your thoughts from dealing with like task-oriented stuff and just switches to the bullshit part of your brain that's like, all right,
That's
and
good.
it can help you fall asleep. So try it. File a lawsuit if it doesn't work.
I'm gonna try the Fancy Nancy tonight. I love it.
Right now.
Give it a
Here,
shot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fruits.
fruits.
Fruits. A.
Do desserts because we just did fruits.
There you go. Desserts.
Do desserts.
Oh, desserts. I can do that easy. A.
Yeah.
Apple crumble.
Good job.
Banana Fosters.
See?
Cake. That's it. It worked.
Wow.
Why does it
You're
work?
welcome.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Well, there you go.
Like
It
a
did
little
actually
baby.
make me yawn for real immediately.
See?
This is because
Give
my
it a
brain was
shot.
when we were trying to think of just fruits that began with A. I paused and couldn't even come up with apple.
Wow. I'll try the technique too.
Apricot.
I have sleep problems of my own. Shout out to Nancy. Here's what we'll do. We'll take a
What do you
break.
do for X for a fruit?
You're fucking
You're
out by then.
snoozing. You're
You're out like
snoozing
a
already.
Oh, all right.
You're already on the Z's by then, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, let's take
So
a break. We'll be back with more Doughboys. Welcome back to Doughboys. We are here with our guest, Alie Ward, discussing Sushi Stop, which was founded a decade ago in LA's Sawtell, Japantown neighborhood. There are over 10 locations in the greater LA area. I would describe this as Mitch, kind of a working class sugarfish. It's like an LA centric chain. It's not as hoity-toity, or certainly not as pricey as Sugarfish.
Sure.
And
that's just a funny way to. It's a funny way to describe it because it was just a sushi spot at one point. So it's like,
yeah.
I think over time it's become the working man's Sugarfish. But like, at first I wouldn't be like the old work. Like when it first opened, I wouldn't be like old working man food, the Sushi Stop. I wouldn't think of it that way.
No, it's kind of a generic.
It's kind of expensive.
It's kind of expensive.
Not, I mean,
it's Mitch. It's kind of a generic. Like honestly, if it wasn't a chain, it would feel like individually they feel like kind of generic.
Sure.
Retail sushi bars, and there's probably one in your town that's an approximation of what Sushi Stop is, but just trying to give some context for people who don't know it. I have a personal relationship with Sushi Stop, and me and my lovely wife Natalie actually talked about this when we said we were going to review this chain. There is a location of Sushi Stop called in the Sawtell neighborhood or the North End. Man, I am pitting. We're on video here, and I just realized how bad I'm pitting. I got to keep my arms down.
Didn't even see
anyway, yeah, it's fucking yeah. Anyway, wait, did you say it's hot?
Yeah, I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I think some people will be into it. I don't think you shouldn't be ashamed of it.
I don't want those people who are into it.
And also, it's hot. It's also hot in your place. I'm sure you turn the AC off.
Yeah, I got everything. I got the windows closed up. I got the hot lights on me because we're on video.
Is it cold in LA now though?
It's actually cold. It's actually kind of cold.
Let's see them.
Icy pits.
Show them to us. Because now it's weird if you're hiding them. Let's see it.
You can see. I'm kind of pitting like that.
That looks good.
I think some people are into it.
That's
I don't like those people.
Contour. That's contour right there.
That's dry as a desert right here, baby.
Well, you got a fucking hoodie on. You shouldn't be sweating through your hoodie.
So that can happen.
Anyway, I'm pitting. We're at the so there was a restaurant called New Japan. This is similar to what happened was Tayo. That was what it was called, right?
Yes, it used to be called Tayo.
It's similar to what happened with Tayo, which is that it was its own restaurant, and then it got acquired by Sushi Stop. And at New Japan's case, they completely changed the character of it. Because it used to be this kind of dank in a good way, kind of divey, very low lit, open till 3 a.m., like headshots of like celebrities, local LA, like not super famous celebrities.
This is a sushi place?
There's a sushi place on the wall. And like
That's
you
good.
could get, what I would usually get there is like a bento. Like they had sushi, but I would more go there and get like a combo of like, and it was a great like late night option. And when it turned into Sushi Stop, it became this sort of more, brightly lit, just less fun version of what it used to be. So for that reason, I kind of resent this chain. That said, I went in with an open mind. Yeah.
It's funny because I kind of resent it too in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because it was going to be like, could have turned into something more fun for UCB. Like it could have been a UC bar or something. That's what they were talking about. Like, or like, I think it was going to be like the Amy Poehler's like Hot Girls Room, which is from a sketch or something. Like they were like, that was going to be there was going to be some like sort of like UCB thing. And then it wasn't. And then it was a sushi place that looked like GameStop. Like the sign looks like GameStop, which is another thing that we of course have to talk about, is that it looks like GameStop.
Absolutely crucial detail. It is the same font and coloration of GameStop, but just says Sushi Stop instead.
Yes. Which is a strange choice.
Does anyone know why?
Inexplicable. No idea.
None of us know why. Okay.
No. And also, so that was the other thing. And then there was an incident where like in its opening weeks, a bunch of people from UCB, or maybe just in general, got food poisoning from Sushi Stop. But this is also, by the way, a decade ago or whatever. This is the Franklin Strip. Hey, there wasn't always what is that shop there on the corner? It used to be the Franklin and Company. It's not Franklin and Company. What the
Oaks?
the Oaks Gourmet. Remember that was like a liquor store, and like they sold pastrami sandwiches in there. It was great.
Oh
so
yeah.
That whole block changed once the flannel once the flannel men flooded the block,
Yes.
things changed over there. They probably should have put it in a GameStop. I feel like
Yes.
GameStop probably would have done really well.
Bunch of slump-shouldered men on the
Yes.
Just like-
spectrum with handshakes like wet paper towels. They would fucking love that GameStop. Yeah.
An arcade, something gross, something carpeted.
I mean,
Yeah.
A carpeted bar. That's what we needed.
but I wasn't thrilled about it. And then I did have it a couple times and like had fun, but it was not like a thing that I went to often on the block. But also, hey, Pritzi's Pizza was a deep dish pizza place wag there. That went away. I like Pritzi's too, but that went away. Things changed. So it became Sushi Stop, and I had it a few times, but I kind of had a weird grudge against it.
I
I
also
thought-
think just to
I remember
continue,
being fine. Yeah.
Yes. That's what I was gonna say. That's where I was gonna land. Is like ultimately my experiences with Sushi Stop, maybe including this one, are that it is fine. But just to speak to it outside of that, the microcosm of that block of Franklin Village, it has, I feel like, become something of a low-key LA institution just because they're everywhere.
Sure.
They're in Glendale, they're on the west side, they're ghost kitchens, and they're kind of predictably consistent. Yes, sorry, Mitch.
Is that a term, a ghost kitchen? Is that when you order from one place on an app and it says it's another? Is that what that is?
Yes, very often it will be like, the once, when a bunch of chain restaurants like Buca de Beppo's were shut down for dine-in, that would be a way they could use their empty kitchen space, would be like they just rent it out to other, businesses. And there's also some like there's some storefronts that are just basically like they just have a kitchen inside and a drop-off window for Uber delivery. And those are functionally ghost kitchens. But yeah, that's the term.
And as you know from You're So Spooky and You Don't Even Know It, I'm very afraid of ghosts. Not to bring up
That's right.
You're So Spooky You Don't Even Know It joke again.
It was good.
But I am afraid of ghosts.
They do have that ghost taqueria, right? That You're So Spicy and You Don't Even Know It is the taqueria, right?
That's right.
Really?
No, it's not. But if it were a ghost kitchen, it would be. I don't know.
I
I don't know
believed
what I'm
it.
saying.
I
Thanks.
loved it.
I appreciate that.
There's a lot of spookiness on that Franklin Street. I think that Scientology Center is old. The Celebrity Scientology Center is old. There's a lot of old history. That whole strip used to be, because that Celebrity Scientology Center used to be Hearst's, a Hearst house. Wags, did you know this? William Randolph,
the famous
Hearst
Hearst family.
and then which is also a scary last name to begin with. And then the whole Franklin Strip
Good point.
was that whole Franklin Strip, including UCB, was like the stables. Like those were stables. So Sushi Stop was formerly part of a Hearst stable.
No. You know what
To
I
give you some
heard?
Hollywood history, this is true.
That's some great Hollywood history. And I heard that they used to roll barrels of alcohol in tunnels under the streets from like the Via Carlotta and the apartment building that I used to live in, like into the Scientology Center when it was still a hotel, like during Prohibition. I mean,
Wow.
you're in the shadow of the Hollywood sign where people have jumped to their deaths. It's a Danny
Yeah.
Masterson was always around. It was a scary part of town.
Well, there was that
Spooky
famous
way.
incident where those barrels were being rolled up, and the Donkey Kong got his hands on them,
Oh God.
and
yeah.
he started tossing them everywhere. Slung
Yeah,
Pauline over
sad.
his shoulder. Ascended to the top of scaffolding.
There was
Yeah.
that Hollywood sign, famously people jump off of it. But then also
Uh-huh.
that one time it was changed to Holly Weird, Wags, as we know.
That's true. That was
And
that
there
was
was-
the famous incident.
And one time where lightning struck it and it lit up. That also happened.
We all remember that.
And then
Tough
also right
times.
down the street you have the this is true, like all the
Mhm.
other facts, but the Hollywood Tower of Terror is right down the street, right across from the Cafe 101. There's a lot of spooky
Goosebumps.
stuff going on here.
Goosebumps.
Very scary.
The
Now,
whole place.
Was our meal scary? Did we eat some scary food? Is the question, Wags?
Well, but I want to back it up for 1 second because Alie, I do want to hear a little bit more about your experience working at Tayo.
Mhm.
So, how long did you work there? And I mean, what was it like to work at a sushi restaurant?
Oh, okay. So I was I had a friend who worked there, but she was my boyfriend at the time's ex-girlfriend. And she used to work there, Natalie, loved her. And the first time I met her, we went in to Tayo and I accidentally spilled a bowl of soup on her crotch. And I was mortified and I was nervous and like I was hi and just like dashed it off the table and I was like, couldn't have gone worse. But we stayed in touch. I broke up with that boyfriend. So now we were both exes of the same guy. I needed a job. She's like, come work here. And so Tayo only employed usually girls. There was one guy that worked there. Some of the girls that worked there were Scientologists and actresses. So they
Wow.
were in the neighborhood. And you kind of didn't know when there'd be like a new girl, you weren't sure. You kind of had to feel it out and be like, have you ever been across the street? And if they were like, fuck no, you'd be like, okay, good.
Yeah.
How are your thetans doing today?
Yeah. You'd be like, "Ugh." But we'd get customers sometimes that would ask us about it. And if they were dicks or whatever, sometimes if they'd ask us about the Scientology Center, we'd be like, if you ever want a tour, just let me know. And then they would leave us alone. But you just pretend like you were a Scientologist. But so yeah, we worked there obviously for tips. The tips were good because back then it was more expensive and it was sushi. So if someone's buying pancakes for $9 versus a sushi meal, your tips are
Right.
just going to be better on the fish stuff. And there was a full bar and we had to bartend and the drinks were not good. They were like Hershey's syrup and Bailey's and vodka.
Ooh.
And it'd be like a chocolate kiss and you'd be like, ugh. And
Wags and I
So-
maybe would both like that drink.
I feel like I'm overselling it. I feel like it kind of sounds good. But imagine if you're drinking out of one of those really like those Sex in the City martini glasses where it's like you're
Yes.
going to spill half of it
Yes.
anyway.
Right.
And it's like maybe too boozy to even have chocolate in it or something.
Yes. And then the
Yeah.
bottom, it's just like some chocolate chips that are still room temperature. And you're like, well, do I dig these out with a finger that's got soy sauce on it? Or do I put my tongue in there? Like maybe you're on a date. It's not good.
I'm getting those chocolate chips no matter what, but I agree.
You gotta
It's-
get 'em.
it's conundrum,
Use the other
yeah.
end of the chopsticks and get in there. You
Oh, that's
paid
smart.
for
That's-
them.
That would take me like 3 hours. But
You gotta do.
now I got a question for you. You said it was your friend's name Natalie,
Yes. Yeah.
and you had a big spill. Well, things are getting spooky here because Weiger's wife's name is Natalie.
True.
And Weiger had a big spill happen at his visit.
I'm a notorious spiller. There was a spill that happened at my visit that was not my responsibility, but I was in close proximity to it. This was between two servers, and the service there
Two
was lovely.
servers.
Everyone was very nice.
Mhm.
And I went to the original location, I believe. I went to the one of the there are like 3 on Sawtell. I went to I think the original location on Sawtell. Anyway, the guy who was serving me was checking in, and ironically enough, this was all soup is going on here. I had ordered a miso soup that never came. He came by to be like, "Hey, did you ever get your miso soup?" I was like, no, I didn't." But I'll take it if you got it. And also ordered something else. And he's like, "Okay, got it." Turned around. Just as he turned around, another server was walking behind him with 2 bowls of miso soup herself, and he made full contact, and they both like fucking turned upside down. And just
Wow.
soup was everywhere. I didn't get any splash damage, thankfully. But I believe I may be somewhat karmically responsible just because I'm always
Yes.
spilling. And I think that energy was maybe just, radiating off of me. However,
Yes.
I do also think that the other server should have said behind, and she did not say behind.
Behind is
But it was a massive spill.
behind you. Behind is just a funny thing, I guess, that you got to say. Emma said that you said it in when you were a bartender, right? Emma, you immediately
It's like
chimed in.
it's a safety thing, yeah, because like you got chefs walking around with knives. You turn too fast, you can get stabbed. Like you got in hot pots and stuff. Like you have to say it. Like I still say it. I haven't bartended in 8 years. I still say it.
They got to replace the word. Behind just sounds dorky, yelling
Well,
out
Yeah.
it's because you're coming up
behind.
behind people, or you say
Yeah.
corner when you're turning the corner,
Oh,
or door if you're going through one of those swinging doors. You'll yell door.
Door.
Yeah.
that was not part of my training there. I did not learn that. Nor am I omelet making.
I worked at a restaurant where the bar I worked at was I had to go down it was an open kitchen, so I had to go down the line, the cook line, and like buy a pizza oven and around the chefs to get to my bar. So I was like constantly walking through a like active hot kitchen, and like if I didn't stay behind, I was like murdered.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's good
I mean,
incentive.
they just gotta come up. It's like saying fanny or something. They should just need to have a better word than behind.
Yeah.
They need to have a better word than behind, Wags.
I think behind is fine.
What about beep
I mean,
beep?
Are you thinking behind
beep.
because
Perfect.
it's like you're behind, not like I'm behind you?
Yeah.
Not even. Yes, I guess I am thinking of that, but also it just sounds dorky. They gotta beep, beep, beep works great.
Beep beep.
Beep beep. Not
That's
dorky.
great.
Beep
That's
beep.
not dorky at all. Beep beep. That's great.
Beep
I'll
beep.
call every restaurant and let them know.
Thank you.
Wags, I said that I told you this, but I said that kind of like Unbreakable, you kind of have an unspillable situation, and you're Mr. Spilt, like Mr. Glass.
They
and
used to call me Mr. Spill.
Mr. Spilt is just around people and they spill
Yeah.
things because Weiger is the worst spiller I've ever met in my life, and I
Really?
didn't even know that I could rank spillers until I met him. He spills all the time, constantly. So I do think that you are what you're not gonna argue with that.
I fully agree. I spill frequently, but you know what I don't spill? My guts. I'm tight-lipped.
Yeah.
So that's what I got going for me.
That's rules.
I'm fucking I don't rat on my fucking friends.
I do. I love to spill my guts.
You actually do. I think you do love to tattle.
I love to dish, baby. Let's dish.
It's that so because you work with like everyone in your family is an education. So I think that's what it is. I think you love telling teacher that someone did something wrong.
Shots fired at fucking all the teachers in the world. I don't know. I'm not a tattle.
I think you are a tattle.
I'm a guy I'm the kid in the back of the classroom talking about what's going on in the schoolyard, baby.
Yeah.
That's what I am. I'm not
Okay.
a fucking tattle. I'm not telling on people.
A
Anyway,
narc
like to
is
tattle a little bit.
different.
oh yeah, I'm not a narc.
He's no narc.
Okay. Well, I'm not
Not
a
a
fucking
narc.
narc either.
I'm no narc. You're a fucking narc.
You're maybe loose lips, hot goss.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, I'm a loose lips hot goss. I'm fine with that. Wags, I got beep beep. I got my order. I got my order to go from Sushi Stop. I didn't want to go to the Franklin Strip. I've eaten in there plenty of times, but I got my order to go, which I thought was I was like, there's no way this is going to be all right. They weirdly did get, I think they got everything right. But they didn't give me any soy sauce or any spicy greenie. Also
Wasabi?
known as wasabi.
Yeah.
We gave up beep beep replaced behind. And I thought spicy greenie could maybe replace wasabi. I forgot the name of wasabi.
Right.
But they didn't give me any wasabi or soy sauce in the delivery,
That's
which
tough.
I thought was bizarre.
That
Yeah,
is
that's
bizarre.
But luckily some of the stuff I got didn't. Should we start naming?
Yeah, let's get into it. Alie, while you were working at Tayo, like, what did you overall think of the that as a sushi production operation, and did it change your thoughts on sushi at all, like for better or worse?
These are good questions. Good questions. So I didn't have my first sushi till I was in college because I was like most, suburban white people, unsure about eating raw tuna. And then I had a California roll, which is barely fish. And I was like, I can hang with this. I love these. And so when I started working at Tayo years later, I was like, I'm down for this. I could eat all the miso soup and California rolls and maybe even raw stuff that I could handle. And also at the time I was very poor. So you could use your employee discount if you were feeling honest. You could put in orders and say they were for table 7 and then eat them yourself if you were not feeling honest. And we had to work really hard there because we did not have a cashier or a host at the time or bus people. So sometimes you would be in charge of the whole restaurant and you would be everyone's and a bartender at the same time. So you'd just be like an octopus and it just things flying everywhere. It'd be like ballet mixed with like a fire drill every day.
Wow.
And I remember at the time I wore like a little pedometer. I was trying to get my step count up and I'd get
That's good.
17K, man. 17K a shift.
Damn.
That's
That's
wild.
wild. That's crazy.
I got guns from lifting cases of Sapporo. So it was a good workout. But
you know what's funny is that one of my only memories of being in that place before Sushi Stop was having a Sapporo in that place, and I think a little sushi. I don't know if this is before or after your time there, but I was in there at one point.
everyone
Before it became
was.
Sushi Stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely went to Tayo.
Yeah, you got those hungry flannel boys.
Hungry flannel boys. And what would happen too is the line for UCB would line up right in front of our
Yeah.
patio.
Yeah.
And so you'd see everyone waiting. And sometimes you'd see guys that were in the line one year and then they'd be headlining the show for on some Monday night
Wow.
6 p.m.
That's
improv.
beautiful.
You know, you'd be like,
Wow.
you do quite frankly love to see it. And
I'm proud of you, flannel guy.
I did feel that way. But when UCB first opened, here's the thing. This is back right before Yelp. So you could get away with a lot because no one could narc on you. There was no
Sure.
one, the loose-lipped hot goss could not reach you. You were free. And so we were bad servers. We weren't good. And that was fine. And some nights we'd be so busy, people would come in asking for takeout, and you'd be like, fuck off. Go to Mayfair and get a salad. Like, can you see I'm crying?
Yeah.
And there's this one guy that would come in, and he was always kind of grumpy, and I'd always be like, we're not doing to-go today. And he'd be like, well, I got it yesterday. And I'd be like, oh, weird, because we don't do to-go. And he's like, what are all those to-go containers right there? And I'd be like, we don't really do it. He'd grumble away. And I realized later it was Matt Besser. And he probably fucking hated me. Hated me. Every time I see him, I'm like, God, I hope he doesn't remember that. I doubt he does.
I love Besser. I love the best
That's
man.
very funny.
Man,
That's
worst.
That's very funny. By the way, Wags, that line being outside in front of the sushi place. If my boy Wags was in the show, that line was around the corner at Oaks Gourmet, babe. It was around.
Wow.
It was around the block.
Tail waggers. Fucking tail waggers.
We got a crowd in front of tail waggers. My boy Wag was in the show. Now
More like tail waggers. Sorry.
Wait, what's that?
Tail waggers.
I just said more like tail waggers. That's all I was saying.
You were tail washers over tail waggers?
No, I said wags are performing around everyone's at tail waggers, more like tail waggers. That's all I was saying.
Good stuff.
Remember it was tail waggers and tail washers? There was two of them.
It was both, yeah.
It was both.
Confusing.
I'm Alie, like you, I would not touch. I did not. Hey, raw fish. That was not for. I'd rather drink a gallon of water from Camp Lejeune in '86, babe. Bub. I should have done Denise Miller. I created a character named Denise Miller on a previous show.
Yeah,
which is
her.
a lady version of Dennis Miller.
But she still sounds like you.
Yeah, by create a character, I just changed the name of Dennis Miller to Denise Miller.
And she still has the same standards of water quality that you do, I imagine. As do we all. As should we all. And that's a self-protective measure, and that's good. But yeah, I
There you
wasn't
go.
down
just
with
seen
that.
a lot of Camp Lejeune commercials. Yeah, I was not I've said this on the podcast before. Sushi was not a thing that I had much growing up, and I remember like when my dad had it and was like, "Oh, raw fishing." I was 16 or 17 or whatever the first time I tried it, and I liked wasabi. And then he would buy me I remember my dad buying me wasabi peas, and wasabi peas would be like a stocking mainstay. You
Those are
know,
fun.
the season just passed, but I would get like wasabi peas in my stocking, and then but like sushi was tough because to me it was like the texture, And I was like, this is like gummy. And also, it probably wasn't great sushi, which I later had. Which, hey, Wags, you want to give crap to Sugarfish, but Sugarfish is a great gateway for people who are so on sushi.
Yeah, it's a great chain version of it. It's like a Cheesecake Factory of sushi, but yeah, you can find LA is a fantastic sushi town. Lots of great Japanese food in LA. That stretch where Sushi Stop has 3 locations.
Yes,
Japantown and Sawtelle has like so many like ramen shops and udon shops and sushi places, yakitori places. It's just like there are a lot of great options.
Wags, my first gateway to sushi is Alie, probably your old restaurant, and Sushi Stop. I mean, like,
wow, that's wild.
Really?
Because like, people were in especially with Sushi Stop. I mean, just your place next door because it was convenient, and people were like, let's get sushi or whatever, and then I would get like more like kind of like would try a California roll,
get a bento with a pretty safe 4-piece California roll. Maybe next time you'd get a spicy tuna roll. And then before you know it, you're like, bring me the mackerel.
Right.
No, never.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
100%. So much so, Jeff Dutton and I wrote a parody video for California, California Love. You remember that? We don't want for California
I remember the song.
Roll. We were going to do a video for that. Look, the content back then wasn't great either, but we were trying to make stuff, and I was having sushi for the first time, and your old what is it called again? I have to give her credit.
Tayo.
Yes,
yeah.
Tayo is definitely it's confusing because there's a popular place called Toy, which is Thai food on Sunset. Where like,
I know, confusing.
The Bam Margera used to like hang out, like some of the Jackass guys. But anyways, Sushi Stop, I think even more so because it is kind of like stupid sushi in a good way.
Yes.
It's like you have a lot of fun, dumb sushi there that's like cream cheese and like fried chicken. And you're like, all right, that's easier to eat. And I got some of this. And the crazy thing is that like that stuff is bad. Like eating it now, I'm like, this is like the worst, like one of the worst things I ate in the entire menu. But for people who are afraid of it, it's like, oh, that's like an easy introduction to it. And then, like you're saying, like, you get like a spicy tuna roll or California roll, and then they do stuff here where like they put like fried onions on top of the California roll or whatever, stuff like that, which makes it easier to eat.
Yeah. Here's a menu option that I think is a great example of what you're saying, Mitch. They have one of their specialty rolls is the chicken crunchy roll. It's cream cheese, avocado, cucumber, sriracha, crunchy flakes, and teriyaki sauce. So you don't have fish involved. This is like something that would be at a Guy Fieri restaurant.
And guess what? I got it.
At the Burbank Airport.
Yeah. I got it. It's Guy Fieri approved for sure. It would be in the Burbank Airport, 100%. And here's the deal. It wasn't good. It was like one of the worst things I had. There was 4 pieces of it. I ate 1 piece of it. I didn't eat the rest. I threw it away. So it's not great.
Well, you didn't have any hot chunks. You didn't have any wasabi. That's what would have fixed it. That's
my little
glue.
hot chunks. Yes, I needed some little hot chunks. I didn't have it. And I needed I obviously needed some soy sauce too. Some of the sushi was a little bit of a disaster, but I started with, I got a Diet Coke, Wags, just to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I started with something. I'll start with my apps. I got pan-fried gyoza, and I got a tempura bowl, because I was like, what is this tempura bowl? This crazy tempura bowl, which just looked like a bunch of like fried tempura vegetables, and I think a piece of shrimp on top of white rice. And that actually is all it was. There was like nothing really special to it. It was a weird combination of like, I thought there would be something more to it, and there really wasn't. But honestly, the tempura was pretty good. There was a few pieces of like fried vegetable. I think like maybe yam or something,
and a pumpkin.
It was good. I mean, and then a fried piece of fish, but then basically just like white rice, and they came separately. But it was just like, oh, so there's just like, you put this on top of white rice, and then And also no sauce for that one. They didn't give me any sauce for it, so I used my gyoza, the leftover sauce from the gyoza. But I think that they did a decent job with all the fried stuff. They did a pretty good job. It just was this sort of thing of like, all right, I ate all this fried stuff, and now there's just a bowl of white rice. And I poured some stuff, and I was trying to eat it as like a one singular dish, but it was kind of hard to do. The pan fried gyoza was good. I mean, they did a good job with that, and it was nice and crunchy and pan fried, and it had a little maybe soy sauce. I don't know what it was. I feel like it was like maybe garlic soy sauce or something, but it was decent. And it was pork gyoza, I believe.
So far, I'm 2 for 2. I got the same things.
Wow.
Really?
Yep, 2 for 2, baby.
What were your assessments of those?
What made you get that? What made you get the whatever bowl there?
I'll tell you. And one thing we haven't touched on yet: price point.
Tempura bowl. Yes.
Price point, people. What the thing about the working man's sugarfish? So, Sushi Stop, the gateway chain sushi restaurant for so many Angelinos. Most of the rolls are like $3.25 or something. They're like a set price that's cheap as fuck, and it's not that bad. And so, other than half of UCB getting food poisoning, for the most part,
which some of them deserved, honestly.
Who knows where that's from? You know what I mean? Maybe they asked for it to go, and someone wasn't in the mood. That's not their fault. But the price point is damn affordable. And if you're like, I need a lunch in a bento box, or I need to treat myself and I don't want to spend $200, you can do a little damage and still walk out of there paying less than you might at, a Cheesecake Factory or something like that. So price
or even
point,
just an independent sushi restaurant, like a one-off. Yeah.
And the thing about it is like, and I was talking to my husband about this, is like, when it comes to sushi, you want like really, really good, like you'll regret paying this much later, but right now it's wonderful. Or you want like high volume, quality stuff. You don't want that middle range where it's like $14, $15 a roll, but it's not even as good as Sushi Stop. And you're like, ugh, like this, like the like fake good. It's like, just go for the cheap stuff. Like, go for the conveyor belt, go for the Sushi Stop, where they at least have volume on their side, where they sell so much. The fish hasn't been there since like Thursday, like chances are they got it that morning because they do volume at least. But so Sushi Stop is definitely on it's cheap, try a bunch of stuff. But so the price point on the tempura, $5.60. I was like, okay, I don't know why it comes with this rice. It's already fried in bread, but okay. Yeah. I didn't eat the rice either. It just sat in a bowl on the side. Like
so someone some fried vegetables, a fried shrimp, and some rice for $5.
Yeah.
That's
that's cheaper than a Carl's Jr. burger in some parts of the United States of America, people.
100%.
Sure.
So
100%. The $5 burger is like $10. Wags, we know this.
Nothing makes sense. Upside down.
Nothing
World's upside down. So I was like, all right, I will roll the dice. It's on the boys. It's like, you know what I mean? I'm getting this on the boys. They're $5.60. And I got the gyoza because gyoza are great. Don't come at me though with like a fried gyoza. I want the pan fried gyoza.
Yes.
Deep fried gyoza are such a waste of oil.
Yeah. I agree. You gotta, if it's lightly fried on both sides, I'm in. But if not, I don't need it in the deep fryer.
I don't need it. You. But and then yes, I did repurpose the gyoza sauce on all kinds of stuff. So I love a gyoza sauce. It's a little bit tangier, and I don't know why. I don't know what they put in that, yuzu or something.
Yeah,
vinegar.
Yeah, I don't know what the gyoza sauce is exactly. I'm not sure if it's a ponzu sauce or if it's its own thing.
I spread that out over. I also am now leaning back. And I've kind of like meshed into the couch Wags. And we're doing video now. I just want to point out that like I know I look like shit now that I'm laying back, but it's worth it for me to just relax.
You oddly look like monochrome. Like you look like there's no color in your reality. Like, are you in Pleasantville?
I think possibly.
Oh
I think I
man.
possibly got zapped for Pleasantville.
Oh boy.
What happens in Pleasantville? Like they like kiss and then
Yeah, and then
there's
they turn
like,
to color.
Your
okay.
saturation knob. You got to fiddle with your satch knob.
I think sadly this is just the Quincy basement. I think this is the natural tone of the Quincy basement. But I first of all, I know what you're saying as far as, hey, this is $5 is like one of the cheaper things on the menu. You get a piece of fish, you get some fried vegetables. That app goes a long way. It's just a funny thing. And then also the gyoza pan fried, way to go, and that sauce. I used it as much as I could. I like that, especially with no soy sauce and no spicy lumpies or whatever the fuck I called it. That was a huge hot chunks. That was like a huge. That was huge for me, that gyoza sauce. But I thought both of those pretty good. I was enjoying myself.
I didn't get
so far.
Yeah, I didn't get any tempura. I did, since I was eating in, I wanted to get a miso soup. And which I got at the end of my meal because they forgot it. And I've had this miso soup from different places 1,000 times in my life. It was a perfectly replacement level miso soup. Could have used a little bit more tofu, but it tasted the same as any place. I got a green tea that was fine, and I got a green salad. My issue with the green salad is so much tomato. It was like they just dumped a huge heaping handful of pico de gallo on top of my salad. It was way too much, and I ate all the greens and I ate all the carrot, and then there was just like a big pile of tomato still left. Because I can't finish this. I don't know why it was so like tomato heavy.
A Japanese style salad too, you would expect there to be kind of less tomato, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, at least in my experience, I feel like it's not like a tomato heavy salad.
Yeah,
like
it was strange. Salad. Yeah, I mean it was, but it was fine. It was completely fine.
How was the dressing?
Again,
how was the dressing?
I mean, it was
memorable?
like just a totally typical like sesame dressing. Nothing particularly to it. Well dressed though, decent amount. Sometimes you get at a chainier sort of place, it's just kind of like doused in dressing. This wasn't the case. It was well balanced. So yeah, I thought that was solid. Should we get into the sushi side of Sushi Stop?
Let's do it.
So I got one of their. Yeah, go on. Go for it.
So you go. No, you go. You go.
All right, I'll go. Beep beep. So I got a yuzu albacore roll. This is one of their fancy rolls that's got a garlic ponzu sauce. It's also got some Crispies, which I knew I was probably going to get some roll with tempura, which is why I didn't order tempura. This has some fried onion, also spicy tuna, cucumber, sriracha, and cilantro. This was nice. I mean, the yuzu citrus did a lot. I could have used a little bit more heat. I'm a bit of a heat seeker, and I do really go heavy on the wasabi. But that's a different sort of heat than you'll get from, it's a different sort of spice. But yeah, I dumped that whole thing of wasabi into my that whole little ice cream scoop of wasabi into my dish, and with some low sodium soy sauce, and I thought this was a quality roll. I also got an avocado cucumber roll. I like to try the veggie roll from places just to see how it holds up. When I was eating vegetarian, I actually found sushi restaurants were pretty reliable in terms of, I can get a bunch of stuff that's fun and tastes like what I'm used to eating, but just without any animal proteins. And could have used a little bit more cucumber here. I thought it was a decently made roll. Honestly, kind of flavorless, but if you just think of it as a soy sauce and wasabi delivery mechanism, totally got the job done. I do think the nigiri side of the menu was pretty decent here. I got a tuna sampler sushi, which had 3 different types of sushi, including like a fattier, like sort of more toro. I thought those were all high quality. Salmon sushi, this might be to Alie's point in terms of just like, they're going through a lot of product. It tasted very fresh. It was well executed. And look, I love a freshwater eel, and I got that freshwater eel, and it was delectable. Honestly, if anything, I under-ordered. And I think that was my main issue here, because I usually over-order at sushi places. I'm like, I'm going to back it up. I'm going to slow things down a little bit. And then by the time I got through everything, I was full, but I was like, I was like 80% full, and I probably could have honestly had more, but I was just kind of like, I feel like I get it. And it was the middle of the day, and I didn't feel like being super heavy. So, but I could have ordered more food. Go on, Mitch.
Well, I agree with you with the nigiri side of the menu being good.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing.
Very solid.
Which I did not think was going to be good, but it was pretty great. And almost comparable in some ways to Sugarfish. It was like the nigiri I had was really good. Also, letting you go first kind of had the same effect as the category game that Alie taught me, where I think that maybe I should just have you, maybe just call you up and have you talk to me, Wags. Put me to sleep every night like a baby.
Hey, buddy.
So
today's category is fish.
Immediately,
albacore,
just snoring out of my mind.
B, bass.
Well, Wags, I got a hand roll, and so I want to quickly talk about my hand roll because you also got a hand roll. I was afraid.
No, I went with I went with cut rolls. I didn't get any hand rolls. I'm a little bit of a hand roll skeptic.
Okay.
I gotta be honest.
Well, I was a hand roll skeptic too, and I also was like, when I ordered this, I was like, this is gonna be like gross. I think this is gonna be the grossest thing I eat. Speaking of tomatoes, and Wags, it was maybe my bite of the night. It was maybe a thing I liked the most.
What?
But I got the sashimi ceviche hand roll, and I really liked it. It was
ballsy.
I really thought it had like a nice flavor to it. It like looks like it's not going to be good. It looks like there's maybe too much tomato in there, but it really worked well. Like the fish flavor was like nice, and the ceviche and like the tomato and the whatever the dressing was, it all kind of worked really nice in the hand roll. It was great. Very surprised by that, but I think what maybe wins my bite of the night, Wags, was the nigiri, and I got myself. There were a lot of 2-piece nigiris, but I got the Yokozuna trio sushi, which
I think that, by the way, I was just gonna say real quick. I think this is another thing to Alie's point in terms of like affordability and price point. They do you can get these trios, and they're like $7, and you get 3 pieces, and they're 3 different types. So if you want to sample a few different ways, that's a great way to go, especially as a solo diner. Sorry, continue, Mitch.
So I think that in the Yokozuna trio,
yeah,
which is there a city called Yokozuna, or is that there was a wrestler Yokozuna? I know that.
Yeah, Yokozuna. I believe it's a sumo term. I think it's like the champion sumo wrestler.
Yes,
the Yokozuna. Yeah,
I'm a fool. So, anyways, it looks like I think that you could probably tell me what's in the Yokozuna trio, which is it looks like
fish.
Salmon. This is hard.
No, I think it's a salmon, a halibut, and a tuna. It's possible that's a toro, but I think that's just a regular tuna.
Salmon.
Could be a yellowtail as well. In the middle.
It feels like it's tuna, right? Yeah, tuna, yellowtail, and salmon. Anyway,
that sounds right. Yeah,
sounds right.
The nigiri was great.
You got a red, you got a white, and you got an orange. So I think that's what we're talking.
Thank you. That's what I should. That is, I'm shocked I didn't say that, honestly. Thank you, Alie. That you put it into Mitch speak.
Yeah,
which was helpful. I didn't have my chunky spicy, and I didn't have my. I keep saying it differently, but I didn't have my soy
fire
sauce.
Paste. We can call it fire paste.
There you go.
I didn't have my fire paste, so I was like, "Is this just gonna suck to eat?" And Wise, it didn't need any of that. I just tossed that in my mouth with the natural whatever they put on there, which maybe they squeezed a little lemon juice on there or whatever they put on it. It worked great. It had a great taste to it. It was great tasting. I loved it. It was really decent nigiri. I was shocked.
Can I say this as someone who like I like sushi. I get it less than I used to, but I do. It is a treat for me. And Natalie doesn't love it, so she's a very daring eater, but like it's just not her favorite. So I will go oftentimes solo. And as a solo diner at a sushi restaurant, fun to sit at the sushi bar. Feels very welcoming there. And then talk to the chef. You can just ask them if each individual piece, like, hey, should I put sauce on this or not? Because they'll tell you what needs sauce. And a lot of times I feel like, there's a tendency to just dredge everything in soy sauce and wasabi, but that's not always the case. You don't always need to do that. But yeah, this is I will say at a remarkably decent experience here. Alie, I want to hear about your sushi or anything else you got.
Well, I've been ordering from the Pasadena location on Grubhub over the pandemic. Usually my husband and I, if one or both of us have been smoking substances that make us very hungry, we will
Got it.
order from Sushi Stop.
Emma's
And
nodding.
I realized that we did it once and we're like, look at this, we're gonna eat all this stuff, right? We get two of us, we get 4 Diet Cokes. Because
I love
maybe
that.
you want 2, maybe you're gonna have the next one the next day. Fucking whatever.
Why
I
not?
love this. Allie, it's a great move. I
Does each
I
Diet
do it
Coke-
myself.
The Diet Cokes cost $2.80, almost as much as like 3, whatever, like 3-4 pieces of sushi, which is hilarious, but whatever. And they always send you the number of chopsticks as beverages you get. So they're always like, oh, there's 4 people. I'm like, no, there's not. But we did it the first time and we were like, what luxury. This is the best day of my life. And then the next time we went to order it, we're like, let's do it again. And I realized on Grubhub, they make it so all you have to do is press 2 buttons. You get on Grubhub, they're like, do you want the same shit you got from Sushi Stop last time? And you're like, kind of. And they're like, press
And
this
that's
button.
the prompt, too.
That's the prompt. That's exactly what it says. And then it's like, if you're thinking about it, press 1 button. If you want to pull the trigger, press the second button. And before you know it, you've got the same order coming to you. And so over the pandemic, we started calling Sushi Stop 2 buttons because we were like, do you want 2 buttons? We're like, yeah, let's just press 2 buttons.
That's good.
All I got to do. And like 35
That's good
minutes
as hell.
later, I've got a salmon collar on my doorstep. And if we're working, my husband also edits my podcast. So if we're working, it's like, this one's on the company, you know?
There you
just
go.
like
Hell
it's
yeah.
on you. This last one was
Yes.
on you guys. Sometimes it's on me. And so my 2 buttons usually involves a couple of dynamite rolls because I like a baked sushi and I'm never going to eat that much mayonnaise if I'm cooking something.
Mm.
But if you toss 5 scallops in 1 cup of mayonnaise and you put it on a California roll, I'm down to clown.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to do that to myself, you know? I'm never going to make that decision cooking. So I get some dynamite, I get the dynamite scallop roll, I get the baked salmon roll, which is again just
Wow.
salmon doused in mayonnaise atop a 4-piece California roll. I get the scallop nigiri. Do you guys ever get that?
Wow.
Yeah, I do get that sometimes.
I've had that at Sugarfish like quite a few times, and I like it a lot. But I didn't get it at Sushi Stop. But that's good. I think that's always tasty.
I like the little guys.
There's a small place in Santa Monica. I don't know if it still exists, but that was a place where they always had like it's called Sushi King, and that was the place where the chefs are from Japan. They had really high quality fish always, and so like a thing like a scallop nigiri or a mackerel, I would be more likely to get there just because it'd be really high quality. But sorry, keep going.
Mackerel's always the toss up because number one, people don't like it because it tastes like a porta potty. It doesn't. It tastes as fishy as you can get. You know,
super fishy.
It tastes like it tastes like very much the ocean mixed with like if you accidentally chewed one of those omega-3 capsules. You know, like a fish burp that you get. Like that's what that tastes like. It's so bad. Everyone.
I think our listeners, one of their favorite flavors is probably porta potty. So you're talking to the wrong crowd here. But
just ripe. And when I worked at Tayo, which I do want to circle back and say the girls that I work with were so fucking great. They were so funny. We're still on a text thread. Wow. I remember this one girl trained me. Her name is Danya. And we were cutting up lemons. And she was like, I got toenails sharper than this knife. And she later told me that she found a smear of brown on her abdomen once. And she was afraid somehow it was poo. And then she realized it was just soy sauce. And she's like, thank God. And they were so funny. They were hilarious. I loved them. Oh, I loved them. We actually really
She
got
just
really
thought like it
worried.
was an accidental poo smear. Like,
She was just like, what is this? She got home like later that night and she was like, fuck, what the fuck? And then she was just like licked her finger and then was like, oh, thank God, it's soy sauce. But they were so funny. I loved them so much. And we actually
are any of the Scientologists on the text chain as well, or they're?
I think the primary friend of ours, I think she bounced. I think she got bounced.
Got it.
I think she had like
It'd be funny to hear
maybe.
updates of like, I'm like level 27 now or something like that. Like
I think she had a lawyer that was an uncle that like helped, like shoehorn her out of there, just popped her out. But
Yeah.
but we were on a text chain over the pandemic because we were really worried about the owner who owned Tayo, because obviously restaurants were not doing well during the pandemic, and we pooled a bunch of money to send him a couple $1,000s in case things were tough. And
Oh,
we
man.
found out
Wow.
that he had sold the chain and owned all these sushi stops and had sold all 6 of them like 2 years before. And he was like living large in San Diego, and he did not need our money at all. But he was like, "Thanks, girls." And we were like, "Oh, fuck, great." Because he was such a hard worker,
That's
Shuji-san.
so funny.
He would get up at 4 in the morning and go to the fish markets. But one thing I learned from working there is I was like, ugh, this can't be very good because a lot of it's frozen sushi, like frozen fish. And then I learned later that most sushi you're going to get in America is frozen. They do that to kill parasites, and they freeze it on the boat. And if they don't, like tuna will oxidize to brown if you don't freeze it right away. You have to freeze salmon for a certain amount of time or else you risk parasites. So a lot of even
Oh, wow.
pretty good sushi has already been frozen. But anyway, so I have no fucking idea what I was talking about. What was I talking about?
Your former boss sent you a picture from his yacht saying thank you.
Yeah, he was like, you guys keep that. Try to buy health insurance or something with it for yourself. But
Well,
you were
talking
talking
through your
about-
order.
I
Yeah.
remember. I remember. I'm back.
Mhm.
So the mackerel, when we used to serve like bento boxes, they come like 3 pieces of sushi, right? And one of them would sometimes be mackerel. And when you'd go to clear the plates, because we were also our own busboys, you'd always find like a half-chewed mackerel in a napkin. Like people would put it in their mouth and go, fuck no, just like abort
That's
mission.
really funny.
And so people don't like mackerel because it is such a strong flavor. And it also has kind of like a silvery skin. So it's like a little...
Yes.
You feel like you're eating like a frog, or it's a little
Yeah.
amphibious.
That's like the real fish experience. You're like getting
Yeah.
the scales or whatever. Yeah.
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 And so I'm going to say the turnover for mackerel is probably not high at a
Mm.
low cost sushi place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally
So I
get what you're
wouldn't do
saying.
that. But yeah, so I get the dynamite rolls. I got the salmon nigiri. I like the scallop nigiri because it's the little scallops, and I like that there's kind of like a little crispy crunch, like of that papery seaweed feeling in a salmon nigiri. It's like it's fencing it in and then it crunches.
Right.
By the way, I'm following along with your. I'm looking up what you ordered. And
Oh, great!
quite a few Sushi Stop originals is what you've got here.
That's what I'm a loyalist. To Sushi
I did one of those. I did the crunchy California roll. Like these are the ones that I thought would be more home runs, and then they weren't. But also, again, didn't have spicy chunky, didn't have my soy. But California, it's a California roll, crunchy flakes and teriyaki sauce, and it was just okay. And I wish that I went more in the direction of like there was like a popcorn shrimp roll, which was California, and then spicy mayo, eel sauce, green onion, and then like a fried shrimp on top of it. And I'm like, I wish I went a little bit more. I mean, like the thing that I went that was the craziest was that crunchy chicken roll, whatever the hell it was. That was like I feel like that was one of the crazier things I got, and I thought it kind of stunk. It was like one of my. Did you enjoy it?
I've had it before. Not a fan. Not a fan. There's one that has guacamole on top. I don't need that. I don't want it. I don't need it.
Guacamole. No.
Yeah, you
But-
don't want to get too fusiony with these.
Nah.
Like
nah.
it's like it stops working. It's unca
Here's what's in the chicken crunchy roll, Wags. It's cream cheese, avocado, cucumber, sriracha, crunchy flakes, teriyaki sauce. It just is like you're barely.
Didn't I read that earlier?
I don't know. Maybe.
That's the exact one I read earlier as an example of what they have.
Well, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I read it again. All right, and I ate it, and you can't taste the chicken in it. It doesn't. And like that's. I was very excited for it, and then it sucked. And then I was also. This is my final order. I got a yuzu albacore roll, which is spicy
what I
tuna,
got, yeah.
cucumber, sriracha, cilantro, fried onion, garlic ponzu, and that was the best of like the crunchy California roll, the chicken crunchy roll, and then this one. That was the best of the three, but it still didn't blow me away. Why? Because I don't know how you felt about it.
I thought I thought it was decent. I do feel like this is often the case, is the specialty rolls are just, they got too much going on, and they're more just sort of like that, like eye candy than a fun mouthful. And I always feel like you're gonna have a little bit more success keeping it simple. But I don't know, it's a solid outing. I was happy with it. Did you? My expectations were not high, and I would say they were surpassed. I am curious. Was there any other food that we didn't get to from anyone?
Yeah, Allie, that's everything for me.
Yeah.
There's a sleeper hit on the menu, and that is something that you probably would not typically order, but the salmon collar is surprisingly good if you're willing to get in there with your tweezy chopsticks and really pick at that stuff. It's a nice piece of fish. Again, super affordable. If you're gonna order, I forget how much is the salmon collar, like $5 or something.
This one this price is $8.30.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
my bad, but still $8 for a piece of fresh grilled salmon, not too shabby. And
under Biden inflation, I mean, it's
you
not
know,
bad.
his fault. But you get
we agree. We all agree.
we all know. You get a fin with it. How often can you
Fun.
order a fin to your doorstep? Not that
Yeah,
often.
That's cool.
Not often.
If you need to make a fish stock later,
There you go.
in
Or
these
the Force
trying economic
Awakens.
times, you need to boil it. Maybe.
I made a Force Awakens. If you order Force Awakens on Amazon, you could get a fin to your
You get a
door.
fin delivered. Yeah.
Well done.
Sorry, Allie. I know that you probably want to leave now, but
I'm out.
here's the thing I
Now?
regret. Here's the thing I regret. Here's the thing I regret not getting, and I wish that I was there in person. Dessert, because there's a banana tempura, a tempura ice cream, which just looks insane. If you just look at the tempura ice cream on the menu, it looks insane, and then some green tea ice cream. Did any of you get dessert, Wags?
No, I didn't get any of these desserts. I do again. This to me feels like that miso soup of just like I've had these desserts at other restaurants like this, and I feel like
Sure.
I've probably had the same thing before.
Banana tempura is legit. I've had it there a million
Okay.
times, and I completely forgot about it until you mentioned it. And I just had this like visceral, like pang of guilt because Shuji-san would have bananas there for the banana tempura orders, and then all of us bitches would come in for our shift, fucking take a banana, crack it open, eat it while we set up, and then sometimes they'd be like we'd be 86 on bananas because like 3 of us would have eaten a banana that day, and then someone would have to go run to Mayfair and get more bananas for if we were busy, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, but I think the banana tempura is pretty good. It comes to you super hot. It melts with the ice cream. The whipped cream's on there. There's some chocolate syrup, and what I like about it is sometimes when you get a communal dessert, there's a lot of crossing the streams with everyone's forks. Everyone's
Sure,
spitty spoons are going all over the place. But when you've got chopsticks, everyone gets a piece of banana.
Yeah.
In these COVID conscious times, it's a safe way to share dessert.
I
like
like
that.
that. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Thank
It
you.
feels like you can get some of the fun stuff here and have it work. It seems like you got some of the fun stuff. My fun stuff, my like Sushi Stop originals didn't work as well for me. But now that I know, in the future, maybe I'm going to go a different route. But some disappointments, some highlights, the things I thought I wasn't going to like surprised me, and the things that I thought were like fun and dumb were kind of bad and dumb. But overall, Wags, I think we should get to final thoughts. It's time.
So, Allie, here's how this will work. We'll each go around, give our closing argument, if you will, on this particular chain, Sushi Stop, and then end that by giving it a score from 0 to 5 forks. You are our guest. We'll begin with you.
I already forgot the instructions.
All right. No problem.
0 to 5. 0 to 5.
0 to 5 forks is a score, and then any other thoughts you want to share just based off of this experience and any prior experiences.
Wager started putting you to sleep.
I know. What happened was, as soon as you said the 0 to 5 forks, I was like, would I give it 4? Would I give it a 3.5? And then I was like, shit, what was the first part of that? Final thoughts. Los Angeles mainstay, sushi for the people. You can have a fun time for not as many dollars, and I appreciate that. Expectation management is how you approach Sushi Stop. And once you know what your expectations are, it's sushi go. Let's do it. And I would give it a 3.5 forks out of 5. Can I do a half tine?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess it would be 14 tines. If there's 4 tines on each fork,
Right.
3 times 4 plus another. I'm going to give it 14 tines. Does that
14
make sense?
times. It does
Oh,
make
yeah.
sense.
That's 3.5 forks.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And actually, Alie, unfortunately, makes too much sense to us. It makes a lot of sense.
No,
Wags
tines
is-
exist.
Wags
Shout
is
out the
very
Tine
happy.
father, Matt Selman, who added that to the Doughboys canon.
Well, should we be
Father
giving?
Tine, rather.
But should we even be rating this in chopsticks?
It's still forks.
Okay, just checking. I'm just checking.
I
appreciate
think
you checking. It's
sushi
still
restaurants
forks.
could be ranked in chopsticks. I don't know why.
I
Weiger
don't
had to
know.
come down on it with a fucking.
They could be, but it's
Weiger
forks.
brought down his band hammer.
It's forks.
It's forks. Fine. It's forks. I understand.
Actually, it's
I accept
forks.
it.
You think our listeners? Do you think
Okay,
Wags and
Dad.
I and our listeners can use fucking chopsticks? We eat sushi with forks.
Hey, I'm good.
Did
Do
with
they bring you
chopsticks.
the rubber bands? Like they bring they fold up the paper and bring you the rubber bands?
I've had that embarrassment too many times in my life. Like probably until I was 30, and I still am not good with chopsticks at all. Wags has seen it.
I'm a fucking chopsticks master.
I know you are. It's fucking annoying. It sucks. He's good with chopsticks.
It can
He's
be
good with ad
chopsticks.
reads,
We can
too.
make it
He's good.
chopsticks.
I could
He's got
definitely
some-
see you trying to order in Japanese at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
if you go by yourself and there's no one to roast you for it.
And then and then
Yes.
getting things a little bit wrong, and then having to sit and then being like, "Can you just say it in English?" I was like,
Yeah.
sorry.
And then on the way home, you trying to talk yourself into the fact that no, you did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
though.
I did okay. Yeah.
And the people at the people who work at the restaurant are like, he knows Japanese for like
Yeah.
horny reasons, right? And they're like, yeah.
You ordered a hentai roll?
This is a really truly a hard one for me to rank because I'm like, I don't think I should personally go over 3 forks, but then I'm like, going below 3 forks seems too cruel too. Like I said, it was a great segue into sushi. It's a great training wheels sushi spot. I forgot what I even said. What was the term I used for it? But I think maybe it was a segue sushi spot. But Wags, it's funny that it's called Sushi Stop, like GameStop, because in my mind I relate it to like the GameStops of sushi places. Like it's convenient. It's got what you need there. It's but there's nothing fancy about it. You just go, and if you're a fan of sushi, I think that you will be happy and you'll find something that works. It's not the greatest sushi, of course. I think Sugarfish is a better restaurant, but God help me, I can't go below 3 forks. I think I got to go 3 forks exactly. And I think it is like, look, if you need sushi, you're on the Franklin Strip. You just had a great 6 p.m. improv show. You're one of the flannel guys. And you're Matt Besser. You need to get something. It's the place to get it. What else are you gonna do? You know what I mean? And I'm sure. Look, there's local sushi spots in LA too that are gonna be better than this. But sometimes you want McDonald's, and this is for a lot of people is kind of like the McDonald's of sushi spots. 3 forks, Wags. I shouldn't say it's the McDonald's of sushi spots. I shouldn't say it's the McDonald's of sushi spots because I love McDonald's. This is like. And I think that McDonald's is probably a 5 forker. We're not going to review it ever, but
Yeah.
Unless
More
Sandler
like
comes on the pod.
how about Denny's? Is
Great.
Denny's a good
Great.
point of comparison?
Denny's is maybe I'm with you, Alie. Maybe Denny's is like a little too bad, but like we're getting
got it.
We're getting closer.
IHOP?
Del Taco?
Del Taco? Well,
Oh,
easy.
well, you just stepped on a landmine with Wags.
Shit.
Loves Del
No,
Taco.
that's fine.
I mean, like,
I
on like
love
a
Del
restaurant level, I think like maybe
Jack
it
in
is
the
Del
Box?
Taco.
Yeah.
Oof.
Maybe it's a Jack in the Box.
Yeah. I do love Del Taco, but maybe you're right. Maybe it is like a Del Taco of that's a because there are definitely better taquerias than Del Taco in the city of LA.
Bold statement.
The same is true for sushi restaurants and Sushi Stop. Yeah, this is I'm not going to overthink this. This is a classic 3 fork restaurant. Does exactly what it's trying to do with a level of with a perfectly solid level of execution. It's a completely fine, just totally everything it does is pretty solid sushi restaurant. One thing I'll say, and one thing I noticed as I was at this particular sushi stop, which is literally like a 2-minute walk from another sushi stop. There's a sushi stop on Sawtelle, and then there's one across the street, like just south of it. And they are both right next to extremely popular ramen restaurants. One is Daikokuya, and the other one is Tsujita. And Tsujita is so popular, there's a Tsujita annex across the street. So there's like 2 Tsujitas. And I realized
Daikokuya downtown?
There's one in Sawtelle.
Oh, there's 2 Daikokuyas?
Yeah, there's one on Sawtelle. So this is the Sawtelle neighborhood. So on the west side
that original
of LA.
Daikokuya is like the best ramen in the world, I think.
So these are, it's really well regarded, and these are very high trafficked. And I realized part of Sushi Stop's, like, the reason they're there is because they just get the overflow from people who are like, they show up and they're like, well, fuck it, I don't want to wait 2 hours. I'll just get fucking Sushi Stop. Which is savvy on their part, and it makes sense that they've stuck around. It makes sense they've turned into sort of a mini chain.
Wags, I get it. It's that sort of thing of like, a kiss from daddy, the birthday boy is sold out. Fuck it, I'm gonna go to Sushi Stop.
Oh, a time machine, bringing me back. Bringing me back.
Our show more likely to give you food poisoning, I feel like.
And one more thing I was going to say, I don't remember what it was. I'm sure it wasn't important. I don't know what it was. All I was going to say is that just like, I still have a little bit of resentment over them neutering New Japan and turning it into a distant simulacrum of what it used to be. But it's New Japan by Sushi Stop is, for me, like Steak and Shake by Biglari, Mitch. It's like, this is not the real thing. That said, 3 forks.
3 forks.
Well, hey, we talked about Sushi Stop a whole bunch. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more Doughboys. Welcome back to Doughboys. We are here with Alie Ward. Sushi Stop was our chain, and it's time for a segment. But before we get to that, Alie, we have a phenomenon here at the Doughboys where we often run into people telling us, oh, my spouse loves your podcast.
Yes.
And that is the case with you. Your husband, Jarrett, listens to Doughboys.
He does. He loves
But I love your husband. We work together. We were just talking about this. Great guy.
Small world.
Yes, I know, it's small world.
But he's, you're in his heart.
Wow.
He's in my heart as well. We worked on some like an old YouTube. We were both hired as actors on old YouTube videos. And it was like this weird thing called My Music, and I remember that I was just like a guy who said guests a bunch, and then like it was like the biggest, the guest guy, which Jordan Morris wrote, Wags, I believe.
I didn't know that.
So there's a lot of small world things going on here. But I did it, and I was like, I don't know what the hell that was, and then like the next week it was like more popular than anything I've ever done in my entire life. Like YouTube people being like, guest guy. And then like, I'll like still to this day, I'll do like whatever. There'll be like a Tomorrow War thing or whatever. And they're like, the guest guy. I'm like, what the whole generation raised on, but your husband was in that, and I met him, and he's a great guy.
He's such a weird person, and I like him.
Well, that
the only downside is that he likes the Doughboys, which we didn't know. Yeah.
Well, that's also one thing I love about Franklin is like, I think that's why it gets the extra 2 times is that street. You know, I had my first art show at the Pig, and which led to a little bit of a career in illustrating, and then writing, and then TV, and you know, my friend Catherine Burns worked at the shop next to me, and I would bring over her sushi lunch, and now she's like a double Emmy winning choreographer. And there are so many people. Susan Hale from UCB works for Ologies now. And there's so many people that I met and I saw their careers. It was almost like a college campus kind of where you'd see people working on stuff. And so I always really liked that little community aspect of it and cheering people on, you know? Like,
and you know what? You're on that Franklin strip. You hear beep, beep. You turn around. A flannel guy is right behind you.
And now he's got his own show, you know?
Yeah, good for him.
Got a pilot. I cannot tell you how many times, like I don't care about football or the Super Bowl, but watching to see who from improv shows got parts in Super Bowl commercials.
Oh,
So it's like,
yeah.
oh, my friend, fuck that guy. Oh my God, I know him. Oh my God, I've served him stuff. Like, so it's like, oh, LA.
Yeah. That's I feel like
Small
Super
world.
Bowl. I remember a Neeler dude, Wags was Neil Campbell was in a Super Bowl commercial, and I remember going home and like telling my family, like, my friend is in a Super Bowl commercial this year, and they were like, we don't care, but then they do care. That like that
They
is I feel
care.
like a commercial is like the biggest. When I was a fucking yardman or whatever, that's the biggest thing I ever fucking did is just being in a fucking. They're like all the time. They're always like, do you know Flo? Like, I feel like that's like the biggest question I get is like,
Yes.
maybe Flo could hook you up with something. I'm like, shut the Jesus Christ.
She was an
And
IO person.
Flo's
wasn't
great.
she?
Don't get me wrong. We love Flo.
We love Flo.
Just
But there's a
fucking-
groundlings community. There's an IO
Right.
community. There's UC. You're like,
Mhm.
she is groundlings. Like,
She's ground. Yeah.
I'm not going to
Yes.
see her at Franklin.
She better
and
not
Co.
be on my turf, man.
You know, it's different. It's different.
Surprisingly little cross pollination between the different different venues. I was like just on that point. My favorite would always be like when I started doing more stuff around the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater and just like indie comedy in general, and then talking about like seeing someone in a commercial. Like, you'll see like your friend in a commercial, and he's like petting a golden retriever and being like, "I'm a stay-at-home dad," and then you're just like, "I just saw you in a sketch where you like put your dick in a hot dog bun." Like, it's just like,
Hold on
who are you
now.
fucking trying to fool?
You specifically named Harris right there, but
Aw.
Let me tell you that
And then-
he filled out that bun too.
he certainly did. And then there were condiments were put on top of it, if people were wondering. I think
R.I.P.
Armin put condiments on it. No,
Rest in
you're
power.
right. They'll be in a commercial with a dog being I'm a stay-at-home dad, and then on stage they'll be like, I'm sucking a dog's dick. Like it's a complete opposite.
Vomiting milk. I remember
yes,
those
yeah.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Paul
times.
Rust's
Yeah. Hey, I
butthole
did
is
that.
like a jewel in the crown of UCB days. I just remember the Dirtiest Week sketch. It was just like all I could
Oh,
think
yeah.
about was Paul Rust just butthole to the audience. And I'm like, that was the time. That was the time.
A different time. Yeah.
And it's worth it's worth a half a fork to me for that place that has it in my heart, you know?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I drank a lot of milk on stage at one point. Anyways,
Yeah.
look, we could talk about this all. We could talk about
Yes,
this.
sorry.
all night.
Sorry.
And I also that scene about sucking a dog's dick was me. But why? let's
do the segment,
Get to the
yes.
segment.
By the way, Catherine Burns, who you mentioned, I'll just shout her out. She's
we love
in
Catherine.
Mitch was talking about the guest guy, his internet video. She was in acted in and choreographed a internet video of mine that went that I think probably people know me most from if they know me from anything viral, which was Gungan Style back in the day. And so she was yeah, Catherine's great. Anyway, it's time for our own. It's been very, very, very deservedly successful. But it's time for our own version of the One Gotta Go meme. It's our segment, A Single Item Must Be Banished, Sushi Edition. This was compiled
Wow.
by our associate producer, Amelia Marino. So I'll just give a category. I'll give 4 options, and you tell me which item must be banished. We're I don't know if we're trying to come to a consensus here. I think we're just saying our own picks. All right, first
All right.
up. Type. Sashimi, nigiri, cut roll, or hand roll. A single
sashimi
item
is
must
just,
be banished.
It's just like the fish in like a sauce, right?
Just the fish, yeah. Sometimes, yeah. It's and I will say that I'm keeping that one because I do.
Yeah, you
I
can
like.
have
I actually like
a really
that.
good sashimi.
You have a really good quality one.
So sashimi, nigiri, hand roll, and cut roll.
Yes.
You know what? I even though I just said I liked the hand roll, it wasn't a seaweed hand roll. I think I gotta get rid of the hand roll.
Yeah, I think there are just too many cut rolls that I like, and again, I mentioned I'm something of a hand roll skeptic. Whatever, I'm
Mm.
sure people will tell me that's actually the more authentic roll is the hand roll. Like, shut up. But I think I will take the cut roll over the hand roll. I don't know. What do you think, Alie?
I was also going to say hand roll. I forgot to mention at Sushi Stop, they did have a blue crab hand roll that was my favorite, a pound
Oh,
of
wow.
mayonnaise in that, and they recently took it off the menu. And so now hand rolls are dead to me. So
Wow.
I want to say bye-bye hand roll. I also think that if you get rid of nigiri, you can kind of fabricate your own nigiri with some sashimi and kind of like live your best life. But
Sure.
that's cheating.
I hand roll. I'm not a huge seaweed guy, which I know that a lot of people like. So like with hand rolls, I feel like I'm getting the most seaweed. Is a hand roll just an uncut roll? Is that basically what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in a cone.
Kinda.
It's a
Yeah,
cone
it's like a
situation.
yeah.
All right. Well, I like
Yeah,
my
it's,
rolls.
different form factor.
Have you ever gotten the sugarfish takeout?
Yes.
Yes.
It gives me anxiety.
The
There's so
hand
many
rolls that you would
instructions.
get in the restaurant, they do as cut rolls in the takeout.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right,
Fun
Emma.
hack.
And I think I enjoy them more that way. I like my rolls uncut, Wags. Or I'm sorry, I like my rolls cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sorry, I'll get out of this area. And so hand rolls for me gotta go. The hand rolls gotta go. Hand rolls gotta go. Hand rolls are gone.
Okay. Next category. This is just types of seafood. These are Amelia's pick: salmon, tuna, yellowtail, and shrimp. By the way, learned from a meme recently, Mitch, a meme that you shared, that salmon sushi only dates to like the 70s. It didn't used to be a thing. I don't know if it's just because salmon
This is the one we questioned. We were like,
Well,
is
no.
this real?
I think it's possible that just like there isn't salmon off the coast of Japan. And so once it became like more of a popular thing in North America and Europe, then it started to be more. I always forget if salmon is fucking an Atlantic or a Pacific fish.
We also talked about this, and it's like
both.
it's listed. It's like focaccia bread is like
Pacific,
in
right?
1982 or something, and there's like weird stuff like that where you're like,
Ciabatta.
oh, weird. Oh, sorry, it was ciabatta. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Emma. Thank you. Which makes more sense. Ciabatta bread is like 1982, and then there was one thing on it that we talked about we did a double. We talked about there's one thing in the corner, fartons, and we didn't know what they are. Fartones. And I'm like, I've never heard of this ever in my life, and it's a funny sounding food, but like it's like I wouldn't be surprised that this was made in the 40s or whatever. I've never heard of fartones in my fucking entire life. But there was some stuff on that list that was kind of like I was shocked by, and also wondered if it was true. Like chicken tikka masala was like the 70s, right? Like or the 80s or something crazy like that. I don't know if you have that list up now, Wags, but we can't
I don't
get
have it
into
open.
We can't.
We also talked about that on an episode that came out like 6 weeks
month
ago by
ago.
the time you're listening
Yeah.
to this. So
Go back.
just
and
listen to that.
it.
Subscribe to the Patreon. Listen to that.
Or don't. The show sucks. Who cares? Anyway,
It's a bad show. It's a bad show. The segment is continuing with the fish options: salmon, tuna,
I'm
yellowtail,
stalling
and
because
shrimp.
this is hard.
One gotta go. I'll take the bullet, and I'll say this is a tough one for me because I actually do like this, and I really like a sweet shrimp.
You better
if
not
it's available.
You better not be
I
saying
think-
shrimp.
I think I might
knew
get
you
shrimp
were.
out of
You were
yours.
such a
I might
dork.
get rid of that one. I
It's
love
the
shrimp.
one that's
I
the
think it's really
most
good.
different. It's the
It's
most
the
different of the
best.
bunch.
It's
the
really good,
best.
and I like it. And again, if you get a sweet shrimp, it's fucking delightful. But you've got to make a tough cut here, and that's my tough cut.
No, this is not a tough cut. This is the easiest question. Fuck off, tuna. Get out of here, tuna.
Wow.
Allie,
I want you.
that's where my head was going, was the
Bye.
tuna of all.
I got a lot of
tuna
reasons.
for me too.
You don't want to hear all my reasons, but I'll tell you a couple of them. Number one, yes on the shrimp. And a sweet shrimp, when they fry the whole head and you get to just eat all kinds of bristles, it's like deep fried pine needles that taste like the ocean. I love that.
Oh my God.
Fucking
I'll
love
eat that
shit.
whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm down with that. But my beef with tuna is sometimes you get a bad one. And also tuna are giant. They got so much mercury, and it's like they are predators, so it's like eating a tiger, which just feels weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's so sad that tuna just gets like boiled and put in a can, and I was like, ugh, tuna fish sandwich. But imagine if you're like, oh, I'm eating a lion sandwich. That's so Isn't that weird? When I think of tuna, I think, oh, tuna. You got to be out there eating littler guys. And also, I don't like the flavor as much.
The Doughboys
like
aren't
spicy
above
tuna,
eating
yeah.
a lion sandwich, so it's hard for us to. I would never eat a cat. You can never eat cats. But the
I think that's well argued. I'll just say that the reason I wouldn't pick tuna is because of Toro, and when you get like a really good fatty piece of Toro, it's just so fucking. It's that's one of the most delectable bites I think you could have at a sushi restaurant. But I understand your argument. If we're talking about just like regular old tuna, I think you're spot on. Go on, Mitch.
I just think that it's like the one that you're just the most used to. Like anytime I'm having the other ones, I'm more excited. And for that reason, I'm gonna cut it. It's look, it's a fucking hard one. Amelia, this was dastardly. This is fucked up. Next category. I can't even fucking think about it too long.
Amelia, you devil.
It's food for thought, is what it is.
It is food for thought.
That should be a segment.
All right, Amelia, hey, come up with a segment, food for thought. Thanks. When you listen to this later. All right, next up, sushi rolls. Also, you are a devil. Here are your options: California roll, Philadelphia roll, spicy tuna roll, salmon avocado roll.
Look, the Philadelphia roll almost I could get rid of right off the bat, but then I heard the salmon. What is it? Salmon avocado roll?
Salmon avocado roll.
Ugh, it's between those two for me.
I think the Philadelphia roll is the. I do like it. It's fun. It's a fun novelty.
What's in the Philadelphia roll? Cream
cheese,
cheese, obviously.
Like lox, smoked salmon.
Yeah, lox, cream cheese and salmon.
So you've got salt on salt. To me, the Philly roll presents too much of a. It lacks like a certain tang to me. Although I guess the cream cheese is a little tangy. But I feel like it's like a salted fish on a salted rice.
Yeah.
With soy sauce. I don't
And you know what?
Yeah.
I sang a song, Philadelphia Cream Cheese, but fuck Philly. Fuck that city.
Wow.
Just have to watch the Eagles be good. They're such fucking assholes.
Wow.
All the time, they're always like, fuck Boston. I'm like, we don't even have like a real rivalry with you guys. Why do you hate us so much? Fuck Philly. They need to be fucking taken down a peg.
And you know what? And what is Philly known for food-wise? It's Philly roll. That's its most valued food export. They have nothing else going for them.
No.
At all.
They don't.
Nothing else that they're known for.
I've never eaten a cheesesteak in that city.
No. I don't think that's not. I don't even know if they make them there. No, they really are known for their salmon lox rolls. So get them where it hurts.
They got taken down a peg when the Phillies lost the World Series, and then soon when the Eagles lose in the playoffs, it will also happen. But they're fucking. They've been a lot to deal with lately. Anyways, Wags, fuck Philly. Philly roll is cut. They've been a lot to deal with lately.
You're both like the same. Like Philadelphia and Boston are both the same. Like fucking drunken, angry cities with inferiority complexes for not being New York. You're the same fucking place. That's why you hate each
bullshit. Fuck New York. I don't want to be New York. Fuck that shit.
Next up,
you know what?
Vegetarian rolls.
SNL should have been in Boston. Anyways.
All right, sticking with rolls, vegetarian rolls.
Kevin Culligan, sound guy on Twisted Metal, great guy from Philly. Fuck Philly, though. Okay, here we go.
Go Birds. Vegetarian rolls, your options are vegetable roll, whatever that means to you, avocado roll, cucumber roll, and veggie tempura roll.
Say this again.
Vegetable roll, avocado roll, cucumber roll, veggie tempura roll. Let me see if there's an agreed upon definition of a vegetable roll.
I would either get rid of the vegetable roll or the cucumber roll already. Just to let you know that I'm ready to get rid of both. I like the cucumber roll. In fact, you know what? Here's a new thing. Get rid of both.
Ooh.
Wow. 2 items must be banished?
Yeah, I'm getting rid of 2 in this one. Fuck.
Wow.
I don't give a shit.
Wow.
Cucumber
what about like
roll?
A sweet potato roll? Do you ever get like a sweet potato roll?
That's fun.
Kind of sounds good.
If it's fried, yeah.
All right, give us a definition of the vegetable roll and the cucumber roll, and then I'm
having trouble finding something that's a commonly agreed upon.
I think
it feels like there's a bunch of different
literally
ways.
Just cucumber in a wrapped in rice.
Yeah, cucumber roll is usually just
Does
cucumber.
cucumber have
honestly
cream
like
cheese
that.
in it though, or no?
I think it's
not
just
all.
cucumber.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say something controversial.
Please.
Avocado roll. Get it out of here.
Interesting.
I I have this thing that is great for other people in that I don't like avocados at all. So if there's an avocado around, I just don't give a fuck. It means nothing to me. And it's like it tastes like water pudding to me. It doesn't taste like anything. I like guac, but that's because you've thrown in some onions and some other cool stuff. But avocados
Water
just don't
pudding.
do it. It's
You know what?
so other people can eat my avocados. I don't care. Take it off my omelet. I don't need it. I don't want it.
I think
I
that's
thought Walker
fair.
was about to stick up for water pudding.
I like a water pudding.
I like a good
A
water
flavorless pudding. Just a clear goo.
Jesus.
I like avocado a lot, but I think your point is well argued. And I think honestly, it's like a little slimy and gooey, and maybe not quite the right texture for a sushi roll, especially just on its own. Like if you like salmon avocado roll, sure. Avocado roll, I think that one must be banished.
Yeah.
Mitch, what do you think?
Get out of here.
Cucumber roll for me.
Wow. Cuke makes you puke?
I'm fine with cuke. Cuke is just, I like cuke in certain areas, but cuke is overrated. Get it out of here.
Wow.
Next one.
Does Jarrett like avocado?
He'll eat it. Yeah, he's
Okay.
down with it. He'll eat
Okay.
it. But I foist my tomatoes
boy.
on other people. Yeah, I foist my. I think it's like tomatoes are. No one's ever like, oh, can I have your tomatoes? But if you're the person at the table that's like, does anyone want my avocado? Everyone's like,
Yeah.
are you sure? Are you
Go
sure?
get
And
takers.
you're like,
yeah.
I'm just a good person that hates avocado. I'll give it away.
All right. Sauces.
Mm.
Eel sauce, spicy mayo, ponzu, and soy sauce.
This is going to be really
This-
controversial.
This is really
This is tough.
challenging. Go on,
This
go
is
on,
tough.
Mitch.
This is going to be controversial. I think it's good, but eel sauce is going to go.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, look, spicy. Maybe I could go spicy mayo over eel sauce, but I think eel sauce. I can get what I want from the other two. Like I can get close enough to eel sauce. I don't know.
All of these are good. I think if I was a boy
Mm.
and you told me like, hey, you know what?
Like a
Someday,
young boy, you're saying?
if I was a little boy, I was just like let's say I've got some sort of like I can send a message to my younger self via a Tesseract, like in Interstellar, and I'm pushing books off of
Jesus.
shelves, and I'm telling little me that someday you will like a thing called eel sauce. Like you will think that I would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no way. But I love eel sauce. I think it's so good. And I think
Let's
this
not
is a
get
tough
little.
cut.
Little Wagger shouldn't see too much of adult Wagger, or if he's gonna have to be fucking institutionalized.
Wait, I have to go to school to turn into that? I have to do my homework so that can be my life? Boy, I think ponzu is my cut here. There's no easy answer.
Out of your mind.
I think I get rid of ponzu.
Ponzu sauce is
Well,
so good.
Wow.
Ponzu is good. It's good. They're all good.
Okay. I agree with you about eel sauce. I think eel sauce is a treat, and it's something that like I wouldn't mind if someone drizzled it over like a frappuccino. You know what I mean? It's like I think it's
Jesus.
good. And I think spicy mayo to me in the sauce kingdom of sushi is like a duct tape. I feel like it fixes everything. You put a little spicy mayo, anything you're eating, even just a smear, even just a thin layer,
Yeah.
elevated, fixes
Yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Soy sauce, you're gonna not invite your mom to Christmas. You gotta have soy sauce there.
You gotta have soy
So
sauce.
you know what ponzu
So you're
is
going
to me?
ponzu as well?
Here's why. Okay, ponzu is like you're gonna hang out with your girlfriends, and then one of them's like, last minute, can my boyfriend come? And you're like, okay, and he's fine, but it's not. It's like we don't.
This
need
goes
him
out
here.
to everyone.
yeah.
Don't last minute bring your significant other to the gathering. We
know-
don't want them there. It doesn't.
We don't need him.
If no
we
one
don't
else
need
is
him
doing
there.
it, you don't got to do it.
It's the thing is like if he's there, fine. But honestly, would have been just as good without him, and maybe a little better.
Yes.
I just think ponzu sauce is superfluous, is what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
get
it's
that.
something that it's like, oh, you're here, okay, but I don't find a need for it in the way that I do the
Yeah.
others. Are you with
I
me?
love it.
I'm
I
with you.
love it.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I've
love
also
barbecue.
definitely been. My wife invited me. Hi.
Sometimes that's great. Sometimes that's
Yeah.
great, and you wind up talking about like whatever, like the latest season of Outlander instead of someone's miscarriage. Sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, get out.
In that scenario, Wags is talking to a divorce attorney.
She said I should come by myself.
Don't get me wrong, I love talking
yeah.
about miscarriages. And I'll do it any day of the week. But it's just a different flavor of hang.
100%.
Right.
Maybe you get that odd significant other who loves getting miscarriage talk too. That's always probably creepy.
Yeah.
But stay away. Significant others, you can stay away. Let your significant other have fun on their own. Let them have fun.
Let them have a night.
Yeah.
I meant to mention this is just to return to my Sushi Stop experience. There was one thing I omitted from my review, which is that I ordered at the end I like to get like an egg sushi, a tamago, and they were out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to get it on the on my order and they didn't offer it, and that's one of my faves. But I think it's very funny that you're like, and for dessert, for a little treat, a little sugar egg, just a little tiny one bite of sugar egg, and that's your dessert.
You know what?
No, I ordered it too.
If I was good, if I did Peloton that morning, I get a tiny little bite of sugar egg.
Give me my sugar egg, please. I've been ever so good. I cleaned my plate.
I do love tamago though.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's good. It's good as hell.
God bless
Delish.
the Japanese for their use of egg.
Yeah.
They just when you're digging into some ramen, you get a piece of get that egg in there, Wags. I'm having a blast.
Hey, under that umbrella too, mayo. Fucking some great mayo implementations in Japanese cuisine.
Yeah.
All right, next up. Sides. This category is like a catch-all category called sides, and this one kind of goes in different directions here. But here are Amelia's options. Pickled ginger, wasabi, miso soup, and edamame.
Oh, we already know. Mitch,
yeah, you got to have the ginger, you got to have the wasabi.
You've lived life without it.
I mean, honestly, I love the ginger, but like, if you're like, you have to lose one of these, I'm like, but I'm saying like all those things, like I'm
Need
like
that fucking ginger.
I love the ginger. Don't get me wrong, Wise. I love the ginger, but I'm saying like, if you're like, you can have you can have a miso soup or a side of ginger. I'm gonna be like, well, I want that miso soup too. You know what I mean? Like this is the tricky trade-off here. Is that for what this is? Like, I'd rather have edamame, miso soup, and what was and spicy chunky
wasabi.
So the wasabi. Honestly, if I'm not going ginger, I'd maybe go miso soup. I think that's the first one down.
Yeah, I think it's miso soup, just because I feel like I've had so many just
agree here.
Completely mediocre versions of it. Edamame is a fun treat at a sushi restaurant as an app, but I don't always get it. I honestly, either of those is fine. I just got to have my ginger and I got to have my wasabi. That pickled ginger is so delightful. It's a great palate cleanser.
Yeah, edamame's out.
Settles the stomach too.
Yeah,
edamame's a good cut.
Yeah, edamame's. I think the others are vital. Edamame's out of here.
Yeah, I love edamame though. I just said it like how my mom says it. Should we have some emamate?
Emamate? Do you like the texture?
Michael, we have some emamate. It's ridiculous. She does it all the time.
Do you like it from a texture standpoint? Like, do you like it because it's like having a fidget spinner before your food gets there? Like, it's like bubble wrap.
That is a fun part of it. That is also a huge fun part of it. But look, we can cut it if we have to. If this is one where we have to agree, I'm like, all right, fine. I get a soup. Like if we were all having dinner together and this is like what happened. I wonder where Emma weighs in. Emma?
I gotta have the ginger and the wasabi. So yeah, I could go miso soup or edamame, but I love a miso soup, so probably the edamame.
Yeah.
Edamame's.
Yeah.
What if you get the
I'm
warm
also kind of cold right
edamame?
now, so hot soup just sounds really nice.
That's true. All right.
That would be nice.
All right. If it's a hot summer day, what if you got like slightly warm salted edamame? All right, whatever.
I will say Sushi Stop has a garlic edamame.
Ooh.
Don't sleep on it. It's pretty. It will make your car smell like garlic farts for a while if you're driving home with it. Not after you eat it. That's your own business. But
Sure.
just if you're driving with it. But I think they recently switched from fresh garlic to garlic powder. So just again,
All
monitor
over.
your expectations.
Yeah, less exciting.
Yeah.
All right, finally, utensils.
Wow.
Chopsticks,
Mhm.
hands, spoon, and napkin. A single item must be banished.
Oh, this is easy for me.
Really?
It's easy for you?
Bye napkin. I don't give a shit.
What?
Bye-bye napkin?
That's what sleeves are
Bye
for.
napkin. Yeah, exactly.
I need that
Emma's right.
napkin.
Wow.
You don't need the napkin. How messy are you gonna get eating sushi? You shouldn't get that
You're messy
messy.
as shit. I'm fucking got shit all over the place. I'm a
Especially
fucking
if
mess when I'm eating
hands are
sushi.
still in the game.
Yeah.
You're gonna employ hands, but not a napkin.
Oh, so you guys are gonna get rid of hands? Well, how are you gonna? Oh, all right. You know what? I'm the spoon man. I can't get rid of spoons, Wise. You know this. I can't
I'm
get rid
ditching-
of spoons.
I'm ditching the spoon. That's an easy cut for me.
This
Because
is
even if I
insane.
get that soup, I'm just slurping it. I can slurp it with
This
from
is
the
you in a
side.
year. I'm ditching the spoon. I'm fucking going to get played. Napkins. See you later, napkins. Emma's with me. He can fucking. I'll figure it out.
I need that napkin.
Tablecloth.
Drapes.
Yeah, anything.
Carpet.
Yeah.
Allie, you got to pick?
Seagrass
Anything
rug.
works.
Hands are out. I don't need
Hands
to
are
smell
out.
lunch. I don't
love
want to
that.
smell my lunch.
You don't want. Yeah.
So hands
like
are
that.
out. I need a napkin. Chopsticks always. I eat Cheetos with chopsticks. I eat popcorn with chopsticks.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Wise
Me
does
too,
I have
this
a
that's
as well.
bunch.
fun.
Just so yeah, hands are out. I don't like to be reminded of the food I ate hours later by smelling my own fingers. It's not my favorite.
See, Wags and I are into that, but
I get
I
it.
like
good
to
thing.
smell my fingies.
I get
Yeah.
it.
memories
little
of
postcard.
meals.
Souvenir.
It smells like deeds I've done.
Smells
Unfortunately,
like my
I think in this
sins.
scenario, Allie, you lose your hands completely, but that's okay.
Oh fuck.
Uh,
okay.
No, you just can't
Okay,
use your
well,
hands
that's
while
fine.
eating it. I don't think you have to live your life without hands.
I think
I
your
have
hands have to be
feet.
chopped off.
Okay, well then, yeah, she's
All right,
okay
then
with it.
Yeah, she's
Fine.
okay with it.
I did get my hand stuck
Wow.
in an escalator when I was a kid.
What?
Yes, and
Whoa.
I'm one of the reasons why they have emergency stop buttons because back then they didn't have those, and like me and like a couple
Wow.
other kids got stuck in early '80s, and then they had to.
Sounds like a
yeah, I
Punky
got-
Brewster episode.
doesn't it? If only.
It does.
If only. But yeah, I have third-degree burns on my hands. So
Oh my god.
I've,
my God.
I've lived life without at least one of my hands for a while, so I'm fine. But I need a
That's
napkin.
Wild.
Yeah. I wanted to figure out how the escalator worked, and so I thought I'd hang on to it as the belt went under. I was like, what happens once it disappears? You know what happens? They call the paramedics, and then they're
Damn.
like, "Oh no, why is your kid so dumb?" But we did a lawsuit on the department store. 4-year-old
Wow.
gets stuck in an escalator, 3rd-degree burns, almost has to repeat kindergarten. Lawsuit, we won. Guess how much?
How much? $1 million.
I'll say $180,000.
$1,200.
What?
Okay. Not the
Did that even
windfall
cover the
I would have
paramedics?
expected.
It covered the emergency bill. My parents weren't very litigious. They were like, oh, okay, thanks. Meanwhile,
You know
I
what?
still have scars.
Yeah.
The emergency room and a little sushi stop afterwards. Pretty good.
Just love it. $3 a plate, baby. Let's get that tempura. I got a settlement. Tempura for the table.
Wild.
You got to buy your own Cokes. Yeah, but I need napkins more than hands.
Me too. Absolutely need
that's
those
fair.
napkins.
Yeah.
That's fair.
By the way,
That's fair.
this was a lie my brother told me. My brother is like 4.5 years older than me. But when I was a kid, because we were talking about the garbage disposal, and like my parents were like, "Don't put your hand in the garbage disposal." My brother's like, "I got my hand stuck in the garbage disposal, and it got cut off, and then they replaced it with a robot hand like Luke has in Empire Strikes Back. And I believed that for like 5 years.
Wow.
I was like, my brother's got a fucking robot hand.
You
I think he just told it to me
dumbass.
once too, and I just internalized it. I was like, that's cool.
He probably heard you telling it later. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
My brother's fucking stupid.
Nate is an alpha.
Yeah. He's an
Anyways,
alpha.
that was what was the name of the thing?
That was a single item must be banished. It's just like a
Wow.
restaurant of our feedback. Let's open to the feedback. We have a voicemail today. Emma, do we want to play that one?
Hey, Doughboys, Kevin here. I was wondering if you had any items of food like toppings or spices or anything like that that you think need to be in very precise ratios to be good. For example, I am someone who does not like it if salad dressing crosses a threshold of too much. There's a limit
Wow.
of how much salad dressing I can enjoy on something. I don't know if you have something similar. Maybe you don't want too much cracked pepper or whatever. Let me know. Thanks. Bye.
Well, that same issue got brought up earlier. Like, I don't want my salad swimming in dressing. It can only take so much. But
you know what?
Mhm.
Underdressed also sucks. And in LA,
Underdressed
they
also
give you, like,
sucks.
a little cup, you're screwed. That guy's voice sounded like Dave Ferguson's voice, like 0.5 speed.
Hmm.
You think that was
sounded
Fast
like
Ferg?
No, I thought it sounded like a deeper Ferg.
I was like a slow Ferg.
Yeah, slow Ferg.
Think that's a character
Or
he's doing?
Deep. I don't know. It sounded like Ferg.
Deep Ferg. Deep Ferg is Kevin.
Deep Ferg. It might be Kevin. This is a great question.
Great question.
And for me, when I get an undersalad salad, I'm so sad. I'm sorry, it's undersalad salad.
Undersalad salad?
When I get an underdressed salad, I am very
Uh-huh.
sad. I need it to be completely dressed. So I would almost risk, like, I know what you're saying is like lettuce sitting in balsamic, like water or whatever. That's gross.
Fucking
But
nasty.
I would rather it almost be overdressed than underdressed. That's one thing.
I don't. That's a tough. That's a tough call for me. I don't know.
But we're saying like specific. We never get the questions because we're
Precise
we're
rate. Like
dummies.
the question is something that you thinks needs to be in a very precise ratio to be good.
If you had overdressed salad though and a napkin, you could fix the problem.
Wow.
There we go.
Great
No
point.
napkin, you fucked.
You're fucked.
Mhm.
All right, I
Think
made a
about
bad
that.
choice.
Yeah, just think about it.
I think
Never
you
get
can
rid of
go
the
too
spoon.
heavy. I think you can go too heavy on the Parmesan. I think it's harder to go too heavy on the pepper. I love pepper, but I think like you don't want too much Parmesan. Although like that's less of a precise ratio. That's less of like an absolute sweet spot, which is I feel like there's like a bell curve of where you want to try to get your salad dressing, right? You want to
You know
get it
what's
right in
another
that
one
sort
with
of
that,
sweet
Wags?
spot. Yeah.
Another one is sour cream. Because I'll be
Oh.
mad
Oh
if
yeah,
sour cream.
sure.
If I get a Chipotle burrito and the sour cream is like under, I'll be like, what the fuck? There's no sour cream in this. And then if it's over, I'm like, ugh, this is sour. Like I'm biting into sour cream, like a sour cream wrap. And I like that's
Yeah.
it's so I guess, but that's kind of what they're asking for is that kind of perfect equation, right? Like right in the
Cream
middle.
cheese on bagels.
Mm.
Mm,
You don't want way too much of it.
I
you
think
definitely
ketchup
don't
and
want too
mustard
little.
though.
Yeah.
Ketchup and mustard on a hot dog is pretty crucial. I feel like it's
yeah.
I don't know why, but ketchup is cold and mustard is hot, and they balance each other out, even though they're both room temperature. But you know what I mean? Like it's like ketchup is cooling, mustard is
Sure.
a heating thing, and I feel
Mhm.
like if you have one or the other, your hot dog's going to be too hot or too cold, flavor wise. And so I feel like
agree with
that's
that.
you need a good balance, unless you're in Chicago, in which case don't ask for ketchup. They'll run you
That's-
out.
Yeah, you got to
Which
have
is
that weird
ridiculous.
fucking relish on
Yeah,
there and a sport
ugh.
pepper for some reason.
You know what?
I'm
Fuck
sorry,
Chicago, too. But
Fair.
I think Emma's currently there.
Yeah.
But for me the ketchup and mustard thing, like on a burger and Wags, I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking the spicy chicken sandwich at Wendy's. And I'm
Sure.
thinking like I need some of that tomato and lettuce and mayo on there. Like if that equation is off, I'm really sad about it. And that happens quite a bit, sadly, is that, you know, if you get a bad one, they forget a tomato or whatever. But I don't know. This is a great question. I feel like I'm not nailing it as much as I want to, but I know that this is a thing I think about all the time of like, saving like last bites and dipping it a certain way. Like it's always in my head.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I think everyone has their equation here, but butter at a movie theater, and I think obviously this is Wags, you're a popcorn skeptic, which is an
Yes.
issue. But if you liked popcorn, I know it's insane that he doesn't like popcorn, but
I got a big bowl of popcorn when I saw Knives Out, Glass Onion Mystery or whatever the fuck. No, a Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery.
and what'd you think?
Did not care for the film. Did not like the movie. But this is, this will be a little dated by this time.
Oh hell yeah!
Anyway, I got
Anyways,
popcorn then. But I generally get nachos. You're right.
but you gotta. For me, you gotta hit that butter equation too and get it below. And if you go too buttery, you fuck it up, and you get a tummy ache on top of it all. So
Can I stay real quick on
you're drinking oil at that point? You feel like shit.
what you're making me think of though, Mitch? Because you brought up movie snacks, and I missed that I usually get nachos. I do love the movie nachos. I do love that cheddar sauce. Anytime you're doing any sort of chip and dip, you want the right amount of dip per chip, and you don't want to like over dip an individual chip, and you also don't want to be left with dry guys by the end because you don't have any salsa or queso or guacamole left.
Here's the thing: when you're conserving dip so much, you're at the end. You got too much dip.
You got
left
too
with
much
a few
dip.
Chips.
That's the fucking worst.
It's the worst. I could have had
It's
more
fucking
dip
tough.
on each of these chips.
Oh,
Yeah, it's stressful, honestly.
That regret.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Man, we are losers. Anyways, I think that's it. I think that covers it.
No,
all.
we're cool. We're good. Let us know what's your choice of something that has to be in the very precise ratio to be good. # goal dough ratio. And if you have a question or comment about the world of chain
Good
restaurants, you
hashtag.
can email us at doughboyspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, Mitch. Or leave us a voicemail at 830-GO-DOUGH like Kevin did. That's 830-463-6844. To get the Doughboys Double, our weekly bonus episode, you can join the Golden or Platinum Play Club at patreon.com/doughboys. Alie Ward, thank you so much for giving us so much of your time, joining us on the podcast here in the year of our Lord 2023, sharing your passion for Sushi Stop and your experience working at the affiliated restaurant. A delight to have you. Please come back on the show anytime.
Anytime. Thank you for paying for my buttons. I appreciate it so much. I think you're going to, right?
Yeah.
That's our-
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Our screens all go off.
I got 4 Cokes. We can deduct a couple. But it was an absolute honor, a pleasure. I eat all the time. So whenever you need me, just holler.
Love it.
Hell yeah.
Alie, do you have anything you would like to plug?
I'll say Ologies. If you like podcasts, science podcasts that involve a lot of information about lizard dicks and stuff, go straight to Ologies. We talk about it all with experts and such. So yeah, holler on over
That's
there.
great.
That's what I'd say.
Wow. Check it out.
Yeah.
And that'll do it for this episode of Doughboys. Until next time, for the Spoon Man Mike Mitchell, I'm Nick Weiger. Happy eating.
See ya.
Beep, beep. Next week on Doughboys Double, let's get into the cookie draft. So here's how this will work, Nangle. We each go around, and we are going to just pick a cookie, and that'll be part of our cookie roster, our sleeve of cookies, our arsenal of various pastries on this hypothetical tray. Mitch, do you have an idea of how many roster spots we should have for cookies?
I guess maybe 5 with one on the bench.
All right, great. So we'll go around snake style. So there and back again. And the people on the end will have
That sounds
2
like
picks in a
Hobbit
row.
style.
It is Hobbit style.
Yeah. Wags loves going snake style.
We don't have to do snake
who
style.
is he? Moomer from God of War? That's a real Moomer move. Did I say it right?
No, you said it funnier.
Oh.
It was good. Mimir.
Moomer. Sorry.
Hear the entire episode over at patreon.com/doughboys. Sources for the intro are in the episode description.
That was a Headgum podcast.